Josh.
Hello.
How you doing, brother?
How are you? Welcome.
Oh, beautiful home, bro.
Thank you. Welcome. We are SGY. This is my staff right here. I want to introduce them first. It's my main man, Jackson, right here, head chef.
I'm Chief Jackson. I work in SGY Hot Kitchen, Kigali, Rwanda.
Yes. And this is Fatuma.
Pleasure.
Fatuma.
Hi everyone, I'm Fatuma. I'm chef in SGY restaurant, so thank you.
Right. So I thanks so much.
Yes.
We're gonna eat a vegan meal today.
Yeah, man, we are.
Right. We're gonna talk. We're gonna eat vegan.
Yes.
What is vegan and what am I looking at right now?
Yes. So today, what we're gonna do is what we call our crispy mushroom sandwich. Obviously, it's from oyster mushroom, which we already have battered, ready to deep fry right here. I have a homemade coleslaw mix that will go on top of the bun.
Okay.
We have some homemade honey mustard that we make in-house and a homemade cashew from nuts. Over here, we're going to make what we like to resemble as our fish sticks, made from eggplant.
Fish sticks?
Yes, fish sticks, of course. And
so chicken and fish.
Yeah, chicken and fish. We're going let's throw it all at you today.
Yeah. Okay.
But I wanted to show you the versatility of what veganism is, right? Like I said eggplant and then I said fish, right? I have certain spices like seafood, seaweed to help go in the batter to help make a fishy-like taste. And so, yeah, I'm just gonna throw a few things at you to resemble some things that maybe you're used to eating.
Yeah, and that's fun because I'm always open to trying new stuff.
Yeah.
You want to open a restaurant, right?
Yes.
So that's among the things that we'll talk about today.
Yes.
And this is the kind of stuff that will be in that restaurant?
Yes, absolutely. Right now, we're serving you kind of really the most basic part of our menu. We are opening in May, fully 100% plant-based vegan restaurant. And it will be located behind KBC.
Okay, that's amazing. So, hey, I'll let you cook.
Cool.
I'm excited. Let's see how you can turn mushroom into chicken and what's this? It looks like eggplant. Into like fish sticks.
Fish sticks, yeah.
That's crazy.
So
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited for you to taste. That's my biggest thing as a vegan is I love people to taste the food and the excitement of like, oh wow, it still resembles something that I'm used to tasting.
That's fun. And obviously my team and I it's not just me who will eat this. So the rest of the team will also have something.
Yes.
I'm excited. Let's go.
Okay, so let's start. I'm going to start with putting a little bit of cashew. So this is already prepped. I got a bit of Chinese white cabbage and purple cabbage, some capers, some jalapenos, some onions. I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of pepper. Always, can't have enough spices, man. With what we cook and how we do it, there's a lot of layers, a lot of layers to what we do to bring out the flavors. So right now I'm just hitting it with a little bit of the cashew, a little bit of honey mustard dressing.
And that's like the salad.
This is the coleslaw. This is for the topping of the bun. Okay. Usually people do like the lettuce, the tomato done. I like to get it all in one. Put it all in one mixture. So right now I'm just gonna mix it up. Again, I got all my ingredients in there. And this is just gonna spot it. Usually I like it to have a lot of residue of sauce on there.
That kind of looks like mayonnaise.
Yeah, there you go.
What's it made of?
So it's inside we have cashew nut. Again, we're vegan, right? So we can't do eggs. Yeah, no eggs, no dairy,
no dairy.
There you go.
Because like maybe that's what we have to understand what vegan is.
Yes.
So no eggs.
No eggs.
It's not vegetarian, right? So,
right. There's a difference.
Yeah.
There's a big
difference. No eggs, no milk.
There's a certain types of honey. Obviously the all natural, the raw honey that Rwanda is so has plenty of, and that's what we're using today inside the honey mustard. Obviously honey. We have a little bit of the cashew sauce in here, and then just some Dijon mustard, and we're mixing it up.
All right.
A little bit of other things in terms of spices.
No fish.
No fish, man. Okay. No fish. No fish. And then the cashew. This is kind of converted as a Caesar. I can use it as a mayo. I can use it as a sour cream. It's very versatile because the cashew obviously creates the white cream, and then we just mix it from there.
And who taught you how to do all this?
So I think the universe kind of has taught me. I want to say I'm self-taught, but obviously I've had mentors along the way, whether it's YouTube, whether it's books, the internet, and then a good friend of mine. I've actually been following for a long time since I became vegan. His name is Todd Anderson. He is a well-known vegan chef in Joshua Tree, California. And I got his book back in 2020, and I've just been kind of like following some of his recipes, kind of throwing in what I've seen on the internet and kind of combining the two. But he's been kind of my pillar source of like instrumenting how I cook and the way in which I cook. So right now he's actually joined us at SZY. Okay. He is a partner, which we're very excited about. And you'll see some recipes seasonally added as we go through the year and taken away through the year. And basically what we want to do is we're here to give the people what they want. So
quick question. Have you always been vegan?
No. I haven't always been vegan. I obviously was very, very much more on the meat side of things with my profession in the States when I played in the NFL. Obviously, I had to maintain a high, many calories, lots of protein to stay, to replenish what I, burnt that day. So was all the way, I ate meat all the way until 2020. And that was when I started to kind of shift outside of the league. And, just trying to find a healthier way to eat things the way I was already eating them, making me feel better, faster recovery, less inflammation, things like that. So right now you just kind of see, like I said, from start to finish, just kind of seasoned mix of like, I didn't eat meat and now I'm vegan. How do I combine the two? It's still kind of,
because you still
I miss the bacon, the smell. Of course, man. You can't. That's one thing you can't really necessarily do in the vegan kitchen. You can't have that smell of bacon. You can't have that smell of pork and chicken and things like that. But what you can do is replicate the taste. And the texture and the flavor. And so that's what we're going to do today. It's easier to say I feel amazing because this is my journey. I would be able to know if I was able to eat meat. I literally can't eat meat. It's just one of those things. My body is just down this journey. What do you mean?
What happens when
maybe vegans can attest to this. It's kind of a natural rejection. It's I can walk in the room and if there's meat being cooked, I can smell it right away. It's something that
I can too.
But I should say I smell it and I want to exit the room.
It's kind of like, I guess
it's a smell that I'm not comfortable with.
Or like anymore. Tobacco.
There you go.
I don't want to be
somebody's smoking. You want to exit the room. So that was new to me. That was nothing that, again, I didn't grow up like thinking like, hey, eat vegan, stop killing animals. It was never that approach for me. It was always, how do I eat healthier? How do I eat the same taste, flavors, and textures, and still get full, still get the protein, still walk away feeling like I don't have to eat 2 minutes later.
So one of the things that a lot of people talk about is the quality of food back where you're from, the US. And they talk about like how the meat is full of hormones and it's not good.
Sure.
So I understand when people maybe don't want to eat meat over there.
Sure.
But like here in Rwanda, right? So our chickens are what you'd call free range. They run around, they eat, and they produce eggs that are the way God intended.
Sure.
Or our cows are not, they feed on grass and they're not pumped with hormones.
For sure.
Our fish is not farmed. It's from our lakes. And it's the way our grandparents milk the same way. Do you not think that perhaps if you were living here and eating the quality of animal product, maybe your body wouldn't have maybe rejected animal products the same way?
Sure. That's a good question. I think I would have a better shot for sure. Like you just mentioned, all the added like preservatives and all the things that Americans do to make food rotate quickly, right? Get it on the table to the people and return the money. For me personally, that's a tough question. I think naturally I've already stepped into a realm of something so interesting outside of just the way I eat, but it's so gravitating because it's became like an artistic approach for me. Like I feel like I'm in a science lab. I feel like I have to create to make something that I want to eat. I think I fell in love with creating something that I like to eat versus going to find something like a cow that I know is easy to eat. And so for me, it's the creativity, and then you bring in the health benefits to it.
And your entire family is vegan?
Absolutely.
You have 2 young kids, and one of the things that as Rwandans we're taught is to give our children milk.
Sure.
Right? So children, milk raised us.
Right.
Don't you ever worry that, these babies, you have a 2-year-old, you have a 3-year-old.
Right.
Do you not worry that maybe by giving them not milk, not cow milk, or no eggs,
right,
that somehow they will not have the things that they need?
Sure. Yeah, very, very good question. I think I'll start with this. I feel like there's no right parenting book in the world for how we parent our kids. For first-time vegans, I wouldn't know how to answer that question on the other side, other than saying this. I know what I ate growing up in America. I know the snacks, the diversity in different items and what you can choose from. And obviously all the ingredients that are inside. For me, I feel like I put a stoppage to a lot of potential diseases that my kids could have had, especially in the U.S. Again, we're talking about 2 different worlds right here with Rwanda and the U.S. But so I'm trying to balance between the 2. But right now in this moment, I'm thinking I saved them from a lot of diseases, a lot of sickness, a lot of things that maybe, naturally, we eat and get, like cancer, diabetes, things that, we were fed into. So, for me, again, I'm not on the saving animal track. I'm on the, how do I become more healthy, and naturally that's saving animals. So that's good. But, for me, it's about how do I maintain the protein? How do I grow myself? And then, just the right amount of, mushroom can honestly give you what you need in terms of protein, whether you're eating chicken. Like a cup of mushroom can give you around 3 grams of protein, 3 to 6 grams of protein, depending on how big the mushroom is. So, even lettuce, beans, broccoli, there's protein all over this table right now. It's just not normally how we usually accustomed to seeing it. And then again, like I said, my kids, I'm interested for the day that they try meat. I'm actually excited for the day that they grow up and they're able to taste outside of what we've always cooked them, to see what we've been saying all this time.
And see if they like it.
Yeah, see if they like it. See if they like it. See what their bodies, more than anything, what their bodies do. Will it reject it? Will it like it? And once they have the 2 comparisons, I've eaten this my whole life and I'm just now tasting this. Why would you like this? Same way with, we ate meat our whole life and now we're just tasting vegan. Maybe you won't like it. It's okay. Maybe you won't like it. It's a new, unique taste. But the thing about what I'm trying to do, knowing that it's a new thing, I'm trying to marry the taste, texture, and flavor, because that's the only reason why we eat the things we eat.
No, it does. It sounds like there'd be some that would be calling themselves like fanatical, right? I like the idea that you're not saying that I'll be disappointed if my kids one day turn to me. Sure. It's not coming from that space. No. It's, okay, I tried as a dad to give them the best that I thought
there you
was
go.
best for them.
There you go.
And now, if you're adults and you want to try something different, go right ahead. You will not feel disappointed and be like, I did something wrong. I didn't raise them right.
No, absolutely not. And that was back to the parenting book. There's no, we're parents. And we all became our own self at one point in time. And that's what I want them to do. So I'm just giving them some tools in the toolbox for when they grow up.
Well, I will leave you here in your kitchen.
Cool.
We'll be talking outside. There's a lot to do.
Yeah.
I'm really hungry. I'm excited. Go right ahead.
For sure. Let's go. Okay, so.
Is the very best. I introduce the very next big deal. You know this is the big league. Unsanga mu mihanda ya Kigali mega big fish. Word on the street turakaze. Habari gani mumeze mute? Yutse nshima Imana kuva nkunda mukiye. If you want the long form, come close murabure. Wait, what?
The long form.
What did he say?
The long form.
What?
The long form.
The long form.
Hello there. My guest this week on the Long Form podcast is Josh Doctson. A former American football star, Josh relocated his entire family to Rwanda and now plans to open the first ever high-end vegan restaurant in Kigali. We shall discuss his early life and sports career, the challenges he faced managing the millions of dollars he earned from the NFL, why he chose to leave the US permanently and settle in Kigali, and why he believes in veganism. Before we jump into today's episode, I want to make a deal with you. About 69.5% of you who watched this very podcast haven't hit the subscribe button yet. So, here's the deal I want to make with you. If you hit that subscribe button today, I promise you that my team and I will keep making the show better and better in every single way. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button today. And now, let's get into the show. Josh, welcome to the Long Form.
Thank you.
Before we start, I'd like to raise a glass to you and your family. And to our listeners, Ching Ching.
Ching Ching.
This is really nice. Usually I do this in a studio. That's, I usually just have a glass of water, but I was like, you know what? I'm sitting down in your beautiful home, about to have a scrumptious, vegan meal.
Yes.
So why not have a glass of wine to, lubricate this conversation?
I like it. I like it.
So I'm just going to ask the most basic question. You've been living in Kigali with your two young babies and your fiance for about a year.
Yes.
Any regrets yet?
I think the only regret would be that we should have moved earlier.
You don't miss Walmart, McDonald's?
Yeah, that's funny. So we just went home, right? We're in January, the end of January. We went home for the holidays, but we had been out here for 6-7 months of the year. the biggest thing I was missing was that red bag of Doritos, or that Ruffles, or just the Snickers, because the ingredients are not, the European, like they're different ingredients. So like I didn't know how the little snack items I would miss would necessarily feel over that tenure of 6-7 months. But again, we went back during the holidays and were able to see the family, see the move, the decision we made, more importantly. And man, we're back, and man, we're still on that same mission. Like I said, I wish I moved here earlier.
You came, 2024 February?
Yes, 2024 February, correct. Yeah,
but it wasn't the first time you'd been here.
Correct. My wife, my fiance, and I, we traveled to Rwanda. Our first time actually on the continent in general was in 2018. And the first destination was Kigali, Rwanda.
Why?
Great question. I mean, so I'm young, as you can see. I'm 32 years old. I'm an African American. I played professional American football for about 4 or 5 years, and during my time in the league, or I should say, during my time in sports, the thing I loved the absolute most was traveling. I loved to, in middle school, get on what we had, a yellow bus, and just travel 30 minutes to go to a new location and play a team. I enjoyed the ride there. And in high school, the rides got a little further. In college, now we're on the planes. And in the league, we're in planes, staying overnights, going to different, states. And it's something that kind of grew on me in general, in terms of like the movement of my profession. And so during my time in the NFL, obviously I had a little more means to travel during my off season, and I would trek to the Caribbean every time the season was over, whether it was Jamaica, St. Lucia, St. Kitts, St. Augustine. We pretty much traveled everywhere you could name or find on the top destinations in the Caribbean. And, when we were there, the thing that stuck out the most to us, obviously, was the new environment, the food, the weather, but the people, right? Outside the American culture, you immediately feel the difference in society, difference in way people move, difference in how the food gets to the grocery stores. And, year after year doing that, I entered the league in 2016, up until 2018 before we came to Africa. Those 3 years we were, hitting the Caribbean, going different places, meeting new people, having different conversations, enlightening ourselves historically about our ancestors in each location. And, that grew kind of like as they call, like the snowball effect, was naturally happening for us, in terms of traveling, but also foreshadowing something I didn't know that was kind of bigger. So it was a day I remember vividly. The end of a long season. I was playing for the Washington Redskins at the time in 2018, and we didn't make the playoffs that year. So naturally, as anybody would tell you, everybody's searching for those travel plans. There's no playoff. The winter is, brewing, and people are looking for warm destinations in general. So one of my buddies next to me, my locker mate, he was he knew I loved to travel. He knew every year he would always, "Where you going this year, Josh?" Like, "Where you?" "Oh, I'm going Jamaica. Or I think I'm gonna go back to St. Lucia." He's like, this year in 2018, he's like, "You know what, man? I've been thinking about how much you like to travel, and how he saw I've been looking for something that I didn't know naturally I was looking for." And he told me, he's like, "Man, you should try to go. You should try to go visit the continent of Africa." Yeah. And I was like, instantly, like, what's up? Well, it gravitated my attention. Again, at that time, I'm 28 years old, right? And so he's telling a 28-year-old to go to the continent of Africa with, at that time, just my significant other, just us two. And right there, that kind of unlocked for me a can of worms of like, I never even thought about going to Africa.
Which is really interesting because every other off season, you'd go to the Caribbean. So there was something, because for those who don't know, that's the islands are majority Black.
Yes.
Right. So there was something that you were seeking.
Yes.
Because you're not telling me that, we went to Barcelona, we went to Prague, London. No, it was the islands.
For sure.
So I can understand why it was an easy jump from the islands to Africa. I would like to ask, was there like a lot of people who come from the African American community, when they think Africa, they're usually coming from a Pan-African mindset. Right? Was there ever a moment where, could you have ever called yourself a Pan-African? Or were you just literally open to traveling and trying different places?
I think I naturally was just open to traveling new places. It
wasn't like a political thing.
No, never political, never a title, never a white versus Black thing. It was just a soul.
Never a
search.
Marcus Garvey thing, return to Africa.
Yeah, no. It was just a soul search of just like I said, the love of traveling, the love of finding something unique, something different, and somewhere more importantly that I felt like comfortable in my environment. And like you said, like you mentioned, the places I didn't go, I wasn't like, there's too many white people there, or there's not the culture that I want there. It was more or less the environment I was searching for. I want something by the water. I want something laid back. I want something chill. Naturally, I think that begins to kind of describe the Caribbean for me. And as I started seeking those places, my first time in the Caribbean, I went to Jamaica, and I was blown away. I was blown away, man. I think I was blown away by feeling like this was the first time I was like outside of the American box, like nothing.
How does that feel? Like
it feels enlightening. I think that's the first word to come to my mind. I feel like it's a kind of like leave mom and dad at home. I'm being my own self, like in the American mindset. Like I don't take my American mind when I travel. Like I'm able to be free. I'm able to be, I kind of like to say just a human experiencing a life in a different region. And, man, I loved it. I love that feeling.
Of being just a human.
Yeah, just being a human, right? Just not being a football player, not being a Black man, obviously, because I was in the Caribbean, but just solely just on an adventure, like I said, by the water, on hills, taking scenic photos. The weather's warm. That's my type of location, especially after a long season of whatever that happened or whatever happened during the season. So yeah, naturally, like I said, I started in Jamaica and we snowballed. We went every single Caribbean island you could probably, like I said, you could name in terms of like top 5 or whatever. And, there was just a sense of wanting more. I think when I got to my 3rd and 5th island of coming here, I'm like, okay,
I've seen the islands.
I've seen
the coconut trees.
I've seen it. This is a 3-hour flight. Yeah, I'm right here. What else is there? There's got to be more. And like I was saying, my 3rd or 5th time, the experience I was getting was more gravitating now at this point towards my people. I was saying, you know what?
When you talk about your people, what do you mean?
My Black skin.
Yeah.
My Black skin. My natural way of existing. Just the culture that I feel like I've never been a part of, in a sense, not necessarily family, but like the culture. Like back in the States, we got, Chinatown, right? We have the European shopping malls and all the things, but where's the African locations? Where are the the locations for us to exist outside of the liquor stores or, convenience stores or fast food chains. Like that's really our block in the States.
Yeah.
That's what they give us as our block. That's when you're in the hood, right?
Right.
That's what we call our culture in America, or in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's what they portray us as. So for me, I was trying to take the hood and the American systematic title of our culture and try to replenish that with what I was starting to feel, what I was starting to see when I was traveling. And just carrying forward to that conversation with my teammate in the locker room. He was like, Josh, you need to go over there to the continent of Africa, man. You're searching for something. And the adventures that you think you've been on don't compare to what's over there. And when he said that, man, I went home that day and I was on the computer nonstop. We had maybe like 2 games left on the season. I was already over here with my itinerary with like, okay, where am I going? Where am I going to start in Africa? There's so many countries. Like, where do I start? Right?
I mean, there are 50 plus countries.
Where do I start? What's safe? Yeah. From American mindset, what's safe? What shots do I not need? What shots do I need? Yeah,
I mean, like vaccines and
vaccines,
stuff.
right. Medicine, medication. Like, who can I call if I get in trouble? Like, I'm 28 years old, right?
You're leaving everything that you've known. You're not trying to get caught up in a civil war.
Yeah, correct. And but at the same time, I wanted to have a holistic experience, man. I didn't
like
want
truly
man.
African.
Yeah, truly African. Like, if something went wrong, on the itinerary, we did something else that day. We didn't have to go line by line. We walk here. Okay, in 30 minutes we're gonna walk here. I didn't want that. And that's kind of how it was a little scheduled. I think even my travel agent was a little weary about my decision. My choice of continent, right?
Yeah.
So how do we get to Rwanda, right? So I'm asking my buddy, okay, like, I'm ready. Like, where do I go? What's in Africa? Tell me what's the first stop. And he told me, look, I think the first place you should go is Uganda. There's silverbacks in the jungle.
Gorillas.
That you can go trek up close and personal, no zoo, no nothing, and experience something that, is on most people's bucket list. And I mean, I was perfect, done. I need something. That's what I want to do. So I go home, like I said, I research Uganda, doing all these. I was like, okay, cool, Uganda, that's where it's at. That's where we're going. I'm telling my fiance, look, this is where we're going this year. It's going to be amazing. We're going
and
to
how
Africa.
is she dealing? Because one of the things as men with wives, partners, fiancés, travel. If you're single, you can do whatever you want, right?
Whenever.
It's about what level of comfortability do our partners have.
For sure.
How do you tell? Because your fiance, had she ever been to Africa?
Never.
So now you're Josh. You're feeling all sorts of things, right? You're thinking, okay, I want to try the continent. Uganda seems great. Silverback gorillas. That's amazing. The conversation with your fiance, Haley, how do you convince a woman? Women usually look for safety, right?
For sure.
They're not
the
really
brains
often
behind it, right?
Yes, they want to make sure that they are alive to tell the story. How do you tell her? How do you convince her Africa? How do you convince her Uganda? And how does it then merge to something else?
Great question. I think when I got home that day, I was so excited, right? So, like you said, how do I bring that to her? I think the first thing I said was, you want to go across the world. I think that was one of the first things I said. You want to travel across the world. You ready to do this? Like, you ready to go see the world? Yeah. It wasn't about where or what it looked like. Are you ready to go see the world? Right. And obviously we know what we're on in terms of like likeliness and like-minded. So that was the first kind of like introduction of like, hey, look, you ready to go travel the world? And of course the response was where you want to go? Like, where are we going? And I was like, Uganda. Like, we're Vernon Davis, my locker mate, he's told me about, you could trek some gorillas and it's an experience. We're in Africa. Like, let's do it. Like, what's up? And she was 100% ready to go.
No worries.
No worries.
Thinking,
no worries at all. I think the biggest thing for her was just like the logistics, right? How do we get there? Like, how many flights? We've never been there, right? You think about first time going that far is like, okay, I haven't even been on a flight longer than 6-7 hours, right? This is about 26 hours, including layovers and whatnot. And, we're going to, Europe, and then we're going to either Togo or Kenya or somewhere connecting layover. And, so all these new words, the verbiage, the Togo and Kenya and African countries like maybe you heard of a long time ago, but now they're like
Ghana,
on my paper
Nigeria,
of where I'm going,
Sudan.
right? Yeah, and I was just seeing Kenya or seeing Togo or seeing Rwanda or seeing Ghana or whatever it was, my layover was. It was so exciting just to see it on paper. And like, again, like I'm trying to let you know how adventurous we are, like by nature. Like, we just love something new and exciting. So, I told her we're going to travel across the world, and I told her where we're going to go. And,
Uganda?
Uganda. And
did you actually go?
No. So we did research, right? And as we're doing research, you can't help but when you're searching in African country, certain things, algorithms pop up, right? Certain mentions, hey, this is here. So I'm searching gorillas, right? Obviously, there's one more country that pops up, right?
Yeah.
Rwanda. And when Rwanda popped up on the search list as I was going through my research, I'm like, bro, I remember this name. I remember this country. And I'm now go to my maps. Like, oh, here's my American mindset. Oh, here's Rwanda right under Uganda. I didn't know that
That's fair.
at that point in time, right? Obviously, we knew Rwanda existed. Our understanding of Africa when we're in America is like it's non-existent. The biggest landmass in the world, we don't educate ourselves on. I can tell you that.
It's not your fault. I mean, I think that's the way they want us to be.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Absolutely. And when I saw Rwanda, I immediately remembered the movie
Hotel Rwanda.
I've seen the movie in recent time, maybe in high school. I'm pretty sure in high school. And, it was sitting here right now talking to you and talking about that and how all this started. It's very interesting, to be honest. Like, how, like I said, how holistic all of this kind of just came together. And so as I'm researching, I see Rwanda and I put 2 and 2 together. I remember Rwanda. My Google search from Uganda and Silverback was immediately erased, and now all you see in my
algorithms, man,
nothing but Rwanda, nothing but Rwanda. It was that time, that day, that night, that once I saw Rwanda was right there, and I was already headed there, I immediately switched, and I wanted to go there. And again, here comes the adventurous part of us. My parents, right? They only. I really think Americans, for the most part, majority, know Rwanda from the movie, right?
Sure.
100%. So when I tell my mom I'm going to Rwanda, the reaction was,
do you want to kill yourself?
do you want to get sick? Do you want to be safe? Do you want to play in the NFL again? Like where is your mindset with going to a country that's, you know,
that
30-ish, removes from something so significant. And, you know, for me, when I feel pullback, I go like, I feel like I'm in the right spot. When I feel somebody else's uncertainty with something that my intuition is like enjoying or gravitating towards, I press forward. That's just that's how I kind of naturally have always been. And so, I explained to my mother at the time that, look, you know, this is, you know, kind of almost a full circle moment. Like, for me to watch that movie, to make it to the means of being able to travel around the world and then to have the consciousness to go, you know, to do it, you know, I think most of, well, not most, but there's many Americans or many African Americans, with well enough means to come to the continent. Yeah. And, I think we were talking about it earlier. There's a lot of things that aren't here, right? There's a lot of snacks. There's a lot of entertainment. There's a lot less accessibility. A lot more sacrifices, coming from that lifestyle.
When you have everything.
You have everything. You have everything. China is like this with America, right? And everything you want in the world is in America. Yeah. So, again, like I said, when I said I wanted a red bag of Doritos, that's how simplistic it was for me, in terms of like the smallest things, in terms of how varieties you can have in America. But nonetheless, I think for me, I've always, it's kind of a tribute to myself and my fiance. We've always kind of been more frugal, less needy, more private, less distracted by entertainment or things that we necessarily didn't need, or trends that we didn't care to follow, because I'm not as much of a social butterfly.
Where does that come from? Because it's really like, that's a one thing in America. You have distractions.
Sure.
And if you have means, right, which you did, and you have access, the world, it's literally, America's made for you.
Yeah, for sure.
So
it's made for your money.
Right? And so what made that character thing in you, right? To be like, okay, I see this, but it's not that attractive to me.
Yeah, sure.
How does that happen? How is that mind state created? Were you born with it?
Yeah.
Or you kind of made it yours?
I think over time, you know, I have one brother, and we're both totally different, right? I would go on to say I was more of a saver. He was more of a spender, naturally, right? Even allowance, $5, cleaning the dishes, taking out the trash. That's under my bed. Let me see if it disappears. I want to see how long it can last, right? I didn't know about no bank. I didn't know about no investment. This is back when I was like 6, 8 years old. I've always been the one to see how I could grow something for some reason. I've always liked, whether it was a pet, whether it was money, whether it was a blank canvas and I was drawing and I was growing a beautiful image in my head. Like, I've always liked, to be to myself and to focus on one thing, grow it, and then move on to the next. So naturally, I don't know how all that mixed, but it's mixed me into
the kind of person who chooses to come to Rwanda.
Yeah, for sure.
For a holiday.
For sure, man. The kind of person that, you know, everybody was throwing that YOLO stuff around back. You know, you only live once, you know, and I think I naturally wore it, man. I naturally did things that I knew wouldn't kill me, but I would push it to the limit, right? I would see how far something could get me that wasn't naturally accustomed to like, you know, the norm.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like you said, like how does a person like me living, you know, at 32 years old, been here for a year, been traveling here last 6-7 years, just kind of be here. I mean, I guess it's naturally who I've been over time.
Yeah. So take me back to 2018. So Rwanda keeps coming up in your algorithm.
Sure.
So you finally decide, you know what? Pulling the trigger.
Sure.
That's where we're going.
Sure.
You step out of the plane. First time in Africa. Take me to that moment.
Bro, that moment was crazy. It was crazy. It was crazy, man. I mean, you got to think about for a second, my perspective of African-American, the last person in my life tree that's been to Africa was my grandfather, who I have tatted right here on my forearm. They were in, is it Tripoli in Libya?
Tripoli, yes.
Yes, in Libya. And they were stationed out there in the 60s. And ironically left 64. But you know, I was thinking like maybe there was a sprinkle of a past or a pre-existing me or a previous family member that you know, like I'm a big believer in understanding of like history repeats itself. And I think humbly, like I feel so humbled and lucky to be in my position to have, if this is a repeat, I love that I'm in the driver's seat, man, because where my mindset is, like I was saying, my consciousness is fully in this reality and it's fully outside that box in America.
Smells, sights, sounds. Tell me about that.
So the plane touched down and 26 hours, longest plane flight, right, of my life.
You're exhausted.
But at the same time, so fucking excited because now we touched down. Yeah. It's pitch black. I don't see anything but stars. Like how are stars at like my perspective right here? You know, usually stars are like in the sky, but I'm seeing starry lights just at eye level, right? And knowing now, but didn't know then, the hills, right? The natural hills that I was seeing. I arrived in the dark time. Yeah. Straight pitch black.
So you're just seeing lights.
Nothing but starry lights, beautiful lights. I wanted it to turn day so I could see. I was up. I was so just wired, bro. Like I've never been wired in my life. And so the doors come down and, we taxi out from the runway. It's not the traditional airport, here yet.
Walk out.
What you said? What?
You walk down.
Yeah, you
right?
walk down, right? Yeah. So the doors open, we get our chance to get out, and as soon as the 26-hour layover and flights are done, and you hit the air, I mean, it was oxygen that I've never had before. I'll start with that. I was replenished like immediately, right? It just hit me like I just head to toe. I smelled wood burning. I smelled, I felt clean air. I felt cool air. I saw nothing but my people, nothing but Black people everywhere, right? It was mimicking the Caribbean. But here was the big difference. When I turned around this way and there was no white people. I was like, babe, we're here. We've made it. We've made it to the destination. We've made it home. That's what it started to feel like.
That's how it felt.
That's how it felt.
Immediately,
bro. Immediately, we've made it. I felt like I made it to I completed a mission. I didn't know that I was on, but I felt like it was like a check immediately. Like, here you go. Here you are. This is what you've been looking for. Here it is.
Did you know that was what you were looking for?
At the moment, no. At the moment, for the bigger picture, no. At the time being, yes. Because what I was looking for was something further than I've ever been before. Indulged in my culture. And feeling it like a human experience and not feeling, Black. So that was like my sole focus right then, right? That was my home feeling right then. I didn't know where it was gonna go. Look, I'm in Africa. This was, I felt like I've already like reached limits. I was, that I would never reach again. Potentially maybe the first trip, or we would travel other countries on the continent. But yeah, like it wasn't like the sense of, I made it home, this is where I'm supposed to be. But it was the sense of like, wow, I've made it to what I've been searching for, a place far, far away from what I know.
So you were in Rwanda for how long? First time?
First time I was here for 14 days. 14 days. We had
And then you moved around, or did you head back home after the 14 days?
Yeah, we head back home. We had a very dense travel itinerary, like most Mozambicans.
You saw the gorillas? You did the...
Yeah, we did. We did the
gorillas,
we did Akagera first.
Excuse me.
We started with the memorial.
Gisozi?
Yes. We stayed at Milkaline. And
Hotel Rwanda?
Yes. There you go. Of course. Now you're understanding like my mindset, right? I was retracing what story.
You saw,
what I saw, what I knew, right? There was nothing we knew. So that's the only thing I knew. Let's go there. Let's see a historic moment in my mind. Obviously I know more about the movie and things now living here, but at the time being, that was our venture right there. And ironically, we got here on the last Sunday of the month. So we woke up to
car-free day.
And we woke up to many chants. We woke up to singing. And I'm talking about echoing chants. I'm talking about chants that for us as Americans, like we thought we was in the movie. We not in terms of like the language, right? Like the African language, the tongue, the mother tongue. Like we're hearing all the sounds that we've heard in the movies. Not necessarily like what the movie showed, but the sounds were here, right? I'm like, whoa, this is literally unbelievable to us. Like we didn't even have to leave the hotel. We were just amazed by looking out the window. Like looking at a motor car drive down the street was crazy to us. Like recording a plant, all the colors of plants. We were amazed. We were so blown away by the smallest little things because we've never seen this stuff before. And so, yeah, we were just so excited.
I've always wanted to ask this. So when you went to the museum, and because I've been to the museum, it's quite harrowing. It makes you feel a way. Did you at any point after, during the tour of the museum, the Gisozi Memorial, feel like, oh goodness, did you ever feel scared of being in the country? Because you're seeing these images. This is maybe 27, 28 years after the genocide.
Correct.
So you're seeing this. You're seeing the pictures of the babies and this and that. And are you not feeling like, oh, this happened here? And then not feel scared for your own life and say, this could pop off anytime. Do you not, is that never like a thought?
Yeah, I think, okay. So in the Caribbean, when we were traveling to several different Caribbean islands, as I was explaining each island, we made sure we had a tour guide, right? And every time we had a tour guide, we'd tell them, take us to our ancestors, take us to where they had our ancestors, take us to where they had the plantations that are now golf courses, right? In Jamaica, they turned plantations into golf courses. So we were always on that venture of historically knowing and always gravitated towards, not like history, our knowledge. Like I feel like for us, we were understanding ourselves more by us going to these places. And so when we were at the museum, I think this was my first time out of all the locations I've been to in the Caribbean and all our, you know, horrible history from these events. This was my first time really getting emotionally attached. And that was a different feeling. When I say emotionally attached, I was angry. Like I had an angry emotion coming out of there. I had like a motivated emotion coming out of there. Like I had
Not as scared?
No, hell no, bro. I was ready to fight. Maybe that's what better way to say it. I was just ready to do something. My mind was off or whatever. I can't even remember what we had planned that day. We had other things planned that day, but like, again, Hotel Rwanda, going to Rwanda, and then here I am, right? Here I am walking around. Like you said, here I am walking around the streets, walking around all these monumental places that events occurred, or just the feeling of walking down the street, looking and maybe knowing something maybe occurred right there. Like it was an emotional attachment that like just, I mean, yeah, man, it swarmed both of us, my wife and I. Like we both were just so enriched with emotions and motivation and wanting to know like more. We wanted to hear the stories from people. We were done reading what was on. We were like, okay, let's go talk to people. I want to know. I want to know more. Right. Yeah. I want to hear these stories. And for us, the reason why we wanted to hear them, because like it was doing so much for us at the time in terms of, like I said, the emotional gravitation towards like, you know, we kind of entering like a moment in time of having a platform for doing something outside of the traditional sense of American society norms. And for us, visiting the memorial, the first thing that we did on the continent and in the country was the best thing we could have done. Best thing we could have done.
Do you get to see your gorillas?
We did. We did. We after the memorial, and then we did the Akagera. Again, obviously the show was the gorillas, right? And so we make the trek up to Musanze. And at the time we didn't know the difference in obviously, we on the tribal itinerary, you know, get the gaiters, warm clothing. The clothing changes, and we see it, but we don't really understand it until we start, you know, driving. And then as we get closer to Musanze, you know, the weather changes, and I'm like, bro, I'm talking about an instant. Like it was just warm, and now it was just warm, and now here I am putting the coat on, right? And I thought it was surreal to me. Now I'm saying, okay, I'm emotionally attached. The serenity of this place is beginning to feel like magical at this point. Like, I don't know, you know, I haven't been everywhere in the world, but I haven't been to a place that had so much different like emotions and scenic and historic things all happening at one time. It was truly a special experience in the first, second, third day already of that 14-day trip.
So you leave, go back to the NFL. Do you come back off season after off season? Do you try other African countries? So yeah, every year, right? We choose somewhere to go. And after that year in 2018, I told my family we're not going nowhere else. So literally every single year we came to Rwanda. Every single year?
Every single
You never did
year.
Ghana?
So we did.
Yeah.
And funny enough, obviously we're already on the eastern side of the world. So I was like, in 2020, we went to Ghana. We went to Tanzania, excuse me. And we did the Serengeti. And everything we did was orchestrated on making sure we passed by Rwanda. So we go to the Serengeti and then made sure we passed by Rwanda on the way home. And then the following year, we did Ghana. And as you see, I have tattoos. This tattoo was the continent, right? And my significance behind this tattoo was because I was going to tattoo each country
that you've been to.
And I've only gotten to 2 so far because of Rwanda.
So
I don't know if this will ever get filled in because of Rwanda, bro. Like it's a real thing. Like I can't make this up.
No, it's listen, I've lived here the majority of my life. I understand what you mean. So you pretty much retire from the NFL.
Sure.
About 2021?
Yes, 2021.
So once you retire, you're what? You're not even 30 yet.
Nah, 29.
Right? So 29, I mean, here are the facts. You're young.
Yeah.
You're wealthy. And you have that magical blue passport, the American passport, right? So the world is literally your oyster. Everyone wants you.
Not a lot of people know that.
Right? Like literally, if you don't want America, there is Canada, there's Mexico, there is Brazil, there is
Bali, Thailand,
Europe, there is, and anywhere that you live, again, because of the career you've had, you can live in the laps of luxury. You can live well, you know, because it's funny, a lot of, during the COVID, a lot of, and I think there was COVID, but there was also the Black Lives Matter movement. And there was also what happened with, what's his name?
Floyd.
George Floyd. And I noticed, because I'm here watching all of this. We're also stuck.
And how is that? Like, how is that?
I mean,
with the George Floyd. Like,
George Floyd.
Yeah, how was that?
I remember feeling so angry. You right? Like, you know, the anger that you felt at the memorial?
Yeah.
And you're like,
straight up,
these bullies
straight up
could kill children with no fear of repercussion. Right? Like, that's really how I feel when I'm there. I'm like, if I was there, I would have done something. So now I'm watching this in beautiful Kigali. I don't have any of those, I guess, fears that you would be born with as a black man in the States. Right? Like, I've never been taught to fear the police.
And by the way, I love the police word now.
Right.
I was pulled over today, literally today. Got one of those, right? So I stopped. It's always just a conversation. It's always just
your heart doesn't start like, that beating.
When I first moved here, absolutely. Yeah,
you were scared. You could feel that old fear.
Right. Absolutely. Because back in the States, man, I mean, you can ask my fiance, we'll be driving the car, nothing going wrong. I see a police officer, I'm going left, I'm going outside my direction to reroute.
You're fleeing.
Look, avoid conflict. By any means, you want to avoid conflict. You don't even want to be seen half the time if you can't be. Why be seen? That's the question. If you ask an African American back home, would you rather drive right here in front of this police officer or make a left to go right to go around the police officer? He goes, I'm going to make that left to go right to go around the police officer.
Even if it takes 20, 30 minutes.
I don't care.
You just don't need that.
I don't need it. Why? Why? I'm having a good day. And I'm not doing nothing wrong, more than importantly. So, anyways, I got pulled over.
So, you get pulled over today.
Yeah. Friendly.
Yeah.
Just, he introduced himself to me first. I said, excuse me. Like, I'm accustomed to it now, but I was a little bit, I thought I actually made a traffic violation, but today again was just hey, I'm so-and-so. I said, well, I'm Josh. He said, well, have a good day. said, well, you too. And I continued on. Yeah, it might have stopped me. Yeah, it might have been whatever. But how you just asked me, I don't feel that no more, which I love. Not just in this moment that you asked me, when he stopped me, I wasn't scared.
Yeah.
And I want to just thank Rhonda for that. You know, like I don't want to thank the people for that. Like it's a priceless thing to take away fear. You know, you can't buy that, bro. You really can't. And to have that safety and to have kids and to try to raise a family and to have my youth and to think about my life expectancy just to be like through the roof now, bro, I'm good.
No, it's, so you're asking about so we're watching this. We're also stuck at home because of COVID.
Right.
And I'm just like, will something change? And obviously there was a lot of movements. There was a lot of talk of like the white superstructure does not want us as Black Americans. Let's go back to Africa. Now I'm trying to like marry it to the question that I want to ask.
Sure.
So I have met some African Americans who chose to leave around that time.
Which time?
2020.
Oh, COVID. Yeah,
right? 2021.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
I have never, and I'm going to be as careful with my words as I can, but very many of them were not coming from a place of privilege, right? They were maybe teachers. They were small business people, retirees. Yeah. There was never really anyone who you could say their life was amazing back home.
Sure. I got you.
Right?
I see where you're at.
So they were coming to Rwanda, fleeing, not necessarily fleeing, but yes, they were fleeing a bad life. Now there's you. Again, athlete.
For sure.
Young, good looking. Like America and the world is made for people like you.
Sure.
But you could have chosen to live, because now there's a difference between living, visiting,
right,
and planting roots.
Sure,
in a place.
Way different,
right? I like travel. No, that's a lie. I was gonna lie and say I like traveling. Listen,
not me.
I understand traveling, right?
New
things. Sure. You can be in Spain for a couple of weeks.
Sure.
You know, you enjoy Madrid. You can go to Italy for a couple of days.
Yeah. Couple pictures.
You know, you go to the Colosseum, you eat some cheese and, you know, but I would never want to live there. I would never want to.
Never.
But again, maybe I would choose to live there if I was a millionaire, because my experience as a middle-class Rwandan in Rome is not the experience that Josh, superstar athlete, is having in Rome.
Yeah, sure.
Right? We're not in the same hotels. We're not sleeping in the same beds. We're not eating in the same restaurants. You're living a bit nicer.
Come on.
Again, you could have gone anywhere, but you chose to be here. Why? Like, you planted roots here.
Sure. Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
What they would call a developing nation that doesn't have the red bag of Doritos that you love.
I'm gonna bring them here.
Right?
Shout out to Doritos.
There is going to be an amount of sacrifice that you will have to make.
For sure.
To
already made.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
You don't have to do this. Right? You don't have to, but you still do.
Yeah.
Why? Why Rwanda? You could have gone to Cape Town.
Yeah.
Right? You get the best of Africa.
For sure.
But you get the white experience.
There you go. The accessibility.
You know, all those nice things.
Yeah. You know, I'll say it like this. growing up, I never wanted to be a football player, but over time, I started falling in love with football. It started to become like a dream to play in the NFL because of my environment, the people, where my mind was at, right?
What did you dream to be as a young person?
Successful. I don't know if that's the first thing to my mind. I've always wanted to be above average, right? Anything I did. Not talking about money, not talking about wearing better clothes, just carrying myself above average. Just putting in the effort, right? Just to see, I'm a pup. I feel like I have a long life. I have a clean slate. I should be doing work. I should be doing something productive to impact this world in my journey. So why Rwanda, right? So playing in the sports, playing football, becoming, good because of my practice, right? Never a football player, became good because of practice, natural talents, whatever, but practice. Fell in love with it, became a dream. I made the dream reality because of my practice, because of my work ethic, because of how I attack life. So moving forward, here's the dream. I'm in the dream. Sometimes, as you probably hear, the dream ain't always what you thought it was, And I loved football. Circumstances in the NFL took away my love for football. Took away my future for football. And
what do you mean?
So injuries, I played maybe like 1 or 2 healthy seasons. It's funny now that we're talking about this. My mind is so far removed healthily, from when I played, in terms of like, there's a lot of it. Before I entered the league, somebody told me it was 80% mentality, 20% physical. I didn't know what that meant. I was a first generation, in the NFL. Nobody in my life or in my family has ever played professional sports, let alone football.
What was your family like? Like, was it a 2-person household? Where were you born? Do you have siblings?
Yeah. So I'm born. I'm from the South, man. As we consider the South, I'm from Montgomery, Alabama. That'll tell you everything right there from people who
football.
know. Yeah, well, football in a Southern kid with nothing to do, right? Really just chilling, porch, cousins, water balloons, pizza party, just I'm a real average young African American just trying to exist in the 90s, right? In Montgomery, Alabama.
Is it a place that that allows a young boy to dream? Because there's some places, right? So I'll say a kid today, say born in a village in Rwanda, their reality or what they think their dreams are formed by the life around them.
Surroundings, for sure.
Right? The people that they see in front of them.
How far you can believe a thing. Yeah.
Versus, say, a kid in Kigali who sees big cars and lights and all this razzmatazz. Their dreams are different. So you as a young boy,
sure,
Alabama, what's your dream?
Chill, stay out the way. I have no conflicts.
That's your dream, just
like I said, to be above average, just more to get by. But I think for me, I was always the person that was, like I was saying, the chill, don't need much, don't want much, not really have big social gatherings, not a lot of friends. Very intimate, right? Very private. Naturally always been me. And naturally always kind of excelled with athleticism, right? I honestly feel like that's most of our genetics.
Yeah.
I
played
started to debunk that.
basketball,
Yeah, basketball. Like, basketball was my thing. I didn't play football until like later in the 8th grade. And so strictly in the 90s, it was basketball. I was a young boy, candy, popsicles, just chilling, man. Just real laid back. And again, I'm in Montgomery, Alabama.
What are your parents doing?
So my parents at the time, my father and my mother were divorced. So I was in a single household. My mother was working at a recreational center called the YMCA. And that's where most of fundraising or like some, people will come back and, or some kids will have like little sports like soccer, football, basketball, kind of the introduction to sports and activities. So that's kind of where she worked. And we were that family that, month to month, we were trying to make it. We had the food stamps, which is, for those who don't know, it's, vouchers funded by the state given to, families with low income families that can go to the grocery stores and exchange the voucher for food items.
Yeah.
And, that was my family. So that was in a nutshell kind of how we were living. So
it's you and your brother?
Yes. Me and my brother, he's 2 years older than me. And he was more of the football, more of the drink milk for my bones to get stronger type of guy. And used to laugh at me because I didn't like milk, which is kind of funny now. But I was always the light, skinny kid, staying out of the way, man. Staying out of the way. And just kind of doing my own thing all
With big
times.
dreams.
You say what?
With big dreams, that kid with big dreams.
Yeah, big dreams. I think for me, I always stayed low until I knew my time was there. I think that was my biggest thing is I always knew I would have a chance. I always felt, I should say, like I would have a chance or opportunity, but this was my life right now, And
one of the things that I guess when I'm listening to you speak, there was something in you because when you come from certain places, the environment around you does not give you much fuel.
Sure.
It doesn't really tell you to be great. It's something in you, right? How did you generate that sense of, I'm going to be above average? Because when you look around you, that's just average. Right? It's very easy to become the sum of the parts around you. You just become, I'm
right. Product of your environment.
Yes.
For sure.
How does a young Josh kind of like tell himself that I'm going to be more than my environment and then I'm going to be ready when that chance comes to fully run through that, little open door?
Yeah. Understood. I think, so we, in 99, from 92 to 99, we were in Montgomery. 99, we left for a better life to Texas. And I think this is what you're starting to talk about. Now I'm in 2nd, 3rd grade, right? I'm in Texas, new environment. New things are being played at recess. No more basketball. Now everybody's playing football in Texas, right? And some of the things, some of the environments are educating me different, right? Some of my socializing is different, right? So all these things are naturally growing me, seasoning me to who Josh is going to be, right? How you're saying. And for me, when I saw my mom move our family to Texas and become the first African woman in her position at the university, at Texas Christian University.
That's a university like pretty famous.
Yeah. It's in Fort Worth, Texas. TCU. Everybody would know about it now in 2025. But in the 90s, it's a private institution, right? About 8,000 undergrad back at the time. But again, first African woman, right? And for me, seeing that, it showed me that I it really showed me that, for one, it showed me that my mom, who my mom was, right? For her to be a single parent, I saw that, right? I'm old enough to understand that, hey, dad's not here, he's not around. We're going to dad's house every other weekend. They're not together. So for us to come out here and now we got a house, we got a car, my mom's working, you know, I'm eating good, my brother's eating good, we got clothes. Like, that was inspiring to me. Like, I saw that, right? I saw her mission to give us a better life now, right? In this lifetime, tomorrow or yesterday. Like, she wanted it now. And she would never say it. She would always show by example. And I think naturally, I just gravitated towards that. I didn't need to tell nobody what I was doing. I didn't need to show people my success. I just was doing my work. And I appreciated how I felt, right? I felt the feeling of doing something right, the feeling of not cheating myself. Those were all things, that attributes and characteristics that my mom started kind of naturally tossing to me when we jumped states.
So you go through that. Your mom and you are now living in Texas. Oh, okay.
Yes,
Food time?
Yes, food time.
So what are we eating?
So right now we have the
Thank you. Thank you so much.
deep fried oyster mushroom.
So this is the...
Is
this a chicken?
This is the replication of a fish stick.
Oh, fish
right?
stick?
So you should have more of a breaded fish stick. From the US, we understand it like this. So that will be the resemblance of this.
It does taste like fish.
Yeah, there you go. So the eggplant, again.
So it's eggplant?
It's eggplant. And the things we eat, right, is because of the texture, taste, and flavor, right? So if I can marry those things, I can get close. I'm not trying to have it the same thing, but I want to give you the texture, taste, and flavor of what you're looking for when you say fish stick, chicken, or burger. So right now we have what I would call a fish stick, what would taste like a fish stick to me. And yes, it's eggplant.
And then you have...
And so, yes, we have
fries,
some nice rosemary French fries, cut a little different and unique to taste. And then we have the deep fried oyster mushroom.
The burger.
The burger.
The chicken burger.
The chicken burger, bro.
Let's try this.
Let's try it.
The crunch is there. My head, my eyes and my mouth are telling me fried chicken sandwich. My brain is like, I know what that is because I saw you preparing it with the mushrooms.
Touché.
But then I'm waiting for the mushroom taste to hit me. And it's not. Right? You know, like when you...
no, I understand.
You're waiting. I'm waiting for...
And that's the texture part, right? I think this is one of the better ways to eat this type of mushroom because, again, I'm taking the texture away of mushroom.
Yes.
And I'm giving you the texture of chicken. And so that's, in essence, what all of my meals are trying to mimic, is to take away what is healthy tasting and bring you in what you normally eat, and trying to put that on a plate. And so that's the style of SZY. That's the style of how we will eat.
No, this is really good.
Thank you.
So this is what, when you open your restaurant, I think May?
May, yes, in May.
So this is the kind of stuff that we'll have. It's not beans and potatoes and everything boiled.
Right. No, I don't, we're not accustomed to that culinary experience in the U.S. when it comes to vegan food items. The way the Western side of the world cooks now is like, I was telling, I don't know if you or someone else, it's almost like how we're going green, how we're going electric. Since pandemic, a lot of people have looked in the mirror, right? Have looked at how we're exercising, how we're moving our body, what we're eating, how we want ourselves to look. And a lot of that stuff deals with what you have on the plate, man. Exercise is one thing, but if you're not eating right, it's counterproductive. And again, from what makes this so well is my fiance having like 10 years of experience in the restaurant industry, naturally going, job to job, opening restaurants like Carbone, and there's a local restaurant called Pacific Table back in Texas that's very prominent, and she's taking what she's learned there to SCY. And I've taken my health and professionalism, as you would call it, from the NFL, and the way we eat and how we eat, and we've combined those two together with vegan food. And we're trying to create something holistic, but also something that we've predicated off of what we've known, to give like something perfect to Rwanda.
So let's go. I want to. We'll continue eating. Actually, please.
Yeah.
I'll try to
Take me a bite.
do a little bit of a monologue. It's like eating this I'm excited to. Quick question, like, why did you? I mean, you could have done a lot of things here, right? So some people go into different types of businesses, import, export, farming, real estate. Why did you want to create a vegan restaurant beyond just wanting a place where you could go and eat good, right?
Right. Again, I think it's back to my profession, or my previous profession. Like, I had to maintain a certain weight when I was playing, which is a funny story, which I don't know if they do it now, but when I was playing, I had a certain weight, 205 pounds. I don't know how many, I know we do it in kilos. I think that's like
About 95.
95, yeah, something around there, kilos. So I had to maintain that. Meanwhile, I go to practice and lose 5 pounds a day, right? So I got to put that back, right? So eating never had a great relationship. It was always forced eating for me. I'm a skinny kid, basketball player. Now I got to be 205 every single day I wake up. That's tough, bro. That's tough. So naturally, there was already something building there with me and food, and the resistance to, or I should say, I was like a prisoner to food, right? I had to eat these things. Yeah. I had to eat this much, this much quantity, this many times a day, because if I didn't and I came in underweight, well, guess what they're gonna do?
They'll fine you?
Fine me. Take money from my pocket because I was sick enough. Or I didn't eat enough, right? Okay, so that even already paints even more of a picture of like how me and food were, right? Like I was married to food, and we needed a divorce badly. And I kind of forget your question.
No, I was asking about, of all the things that you could have done coming here, why open a vegan spot?
So yeah, all these things with food and the history of food and me, and I find a different way, a different outlet. I start on my last year of playing, ironically, I went pescatarian. I was like, look, I'm done with this meat. If I got to eat this much, I'm gonna just eat fish. Like I can't eat no more meat. And here I am pescatarian my last year. And that's someone who just eats fish, right? Correct. Somebody who strictly fish. Obviously still, the milk and the cheese and all the things is okay. But when it comes to like the meat or fish item, we're going fish. So yeah, that's where I was at the time. And it was during COVID. And my last year playing was in COVID, and I was a pescatarian in COVID, and I got COVID. And my, how do I say it? When my response to COVID is I lost my sense of taste and smell.
Oh.
So here I am, pescatarian, just lost my sense of taste and smell, just got COVID, sent home from the team. I was at the Cardinals at the time, my last year playing, and you know, I had to stay, you know, they're barricading me from the team so I don't get anybody else sick. And here I am, I'm like, okay, let me, you know, continue my weight eating. So here I am with no taste, no smell, going to eat my same fish spot. And I get the fish, it comes out, and I'm like, what is this? Why am I eating this? And I eat it, and I take a bite still, because again, weight, fine, money, money's more important at this time. So I take a bite, and man,
but how much are they fining you?
500 a pound.
So if you've lost,
or maybe
2
it was a half a
pounds.
pound. Yeah, it's $1,000.
$1,000.
Yeah, of course.
And that's every day.
So we clock in every weigh-ins are like every Monday usually. So they want to see, they obviously give you a chance to get back to the weight, but like, again, yeah, I mean, it's in the contract, it's in the thing. I never was fined. Again, this is kind of the black and white and gray of the NFL of if they like you or don't like you, you know, kind of along those lines of, hey, he's doing bad and he's underweight, let's double fine him. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if anybody's ever gotten necessarily fined by that, but it is an appropriate, or it is an action that is used by the NFL to help players maintain their weight.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, COVID, pescatarian, here's the fish.
A quick question. For people who don't know, why do you need to maintain weight? What happens? Because usually in life, people are telling you to lose weight because you're too big.
Right.
Why do you need to stay at a certain weight?
Okay, well, this might be totally wrong. This might be solely on a conspiracy, but I feel like the reason why, okay, there's 2 reasons. The reason why they might say you need to maintain weight is to stay healthy. And here's the reason of the conspiracy. The reason why we maintain the weight is because that's when I drafted you first, right? That's when I bought you, right? That's
so
when
they bought you at that weight.
There we go. I bought you at that weight. I saw you at the combine.
I like that.
In your draws, and you got on the scale and you were 205. You better come in my building every single day 205. Why would you come in there 180 like college? Was that just for show? You see what I'm saying? So that's my understanding of like weight management. It's not to maintain health. It's because I bought you at that weight. If you bought a lineman at 300 pounds and then the next day he was like freaking 230, 220, is he going to be on the line? You see what I'm saying? So there's certain, you got to read between the lines. And that was me reading between the lines. So here we are. And, which is also a little side story, the combine, which is, the national requisite or to get recognized to go in.
So it's like, so people who don't know, it's like a bunch of people, all the teams want players.
All the college teams, collegiate players who don't have any eligibility. They go to a combine, an arena, and perform one last time. No helmets, nothing, just shorts and t-shirts. And they perform certain skill challenges.
So running, jumping.
Running, jumping, how fast you can run, how big your hand is, right? How much you weigh, right? How long your wingspan is, right? Are we?
So like what kind of athlete you are, pretty much.
And the dimensions, right? And this is the part that, you know, sways the boat. And ironically and theoretically literally sways the boat, right? So here we are at the combine. Josh Doctson, here I am. Stretch your hand as big as you can get it and put it on.
How old are you at this point?
I'm 26.
No.
Excuse me, I'm 22.
22, okay.
22 years old. You put your hand down, they measure your hand, right? See how big your hand is. Now, Josh, I'm in my drawers, right? In my underwear.
I mean, for people who don't know, You're a wide receiver,
I'm a
so
wide receiver,
your
I'm sorry,
your
yeah.
hands are supposed to be big.
They're supposed to be big, but at this time we're doing measurements because we want the pickers, the people who pick you, to know your dimensions, how big you are. Like if that matters, somebody on a decision maker might be like, look, I want somebody with 8-inch hands. Look, no, I want somebody with 10-inch hands. If he don't have 10-inch hands, I'm not even looking at him. If he's not over 200 pounds, I'm not even looking at him.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? These are some.
So it's like a market.
Yeah.
And you're the product.
So I'm glad you're saying it for me. So here I am, probably about 197 that day, knowing I needed to be 200. I needed to be 200.
What did you do?
I took a full gallon of Amazi
So that's about two, maybe 3 liters of water.
and chugged it and got on that scale and it clocked in at 202 and went to the back and threw up back to 197. And for my draft stock, for my purpose of them thinking I was this weight, because they wanted, because that mattered to them, I was gonna do my puppet show and make sure I was.
And you knew that? Like, did you know that this is what they want?
Yes, because we have an agent. Everybody there usually has an agent.
What's an agent?
It's a representative, right? Somebody that you maybe known for a few months, right? Maybe 6 months, maybe a year, whatever it is, a fresh relationship of somebody who is advising you and supervising you and representing you all at the same time for millions and millions of dollars. And so that's negotiating contracts, doing.
He's kind of
so
like
you
a
can
lawyer
focus.
/ advisor,
mentor, all in one. Buddy, friend, dad, brother, whatever you want to call it, wherever you are in life, whatever you don't have at home, that's kind of what your agent should kind of turn into for you.
But you pay him.
Absolutely.
How much do they pay? How much do agents earn?
I think it's around 3% of the contract. I'm pretty sure. Some agents do it differently. I'm sure it's different now.
What
some
did your
split
agent ask from you? 3% of your contract.
Yeah.
Now, just to go back, because we really haven't answered the question of, and maybe we'll answer it later, about why a vegan restaurant, among the things that you could have invested in when you got here.
Right.
But now that you've opened the door to the football talk, let's have that. So you go to, if I'm not mistaken, you go to TCU. You're a wide receiver. You do well. You now have told us about the combine. You almost probably kill yourself with water, but it works, obviously, because you were chosen. And you're chosen quite highly.
Sure.
If I'm not mistaken, the first round.
Yes.
So for those who don't understand, what does that actually mean when you're chosen in the first round?
I think taking myself out of it humbly, talking about the first round from just somebody naturally wanting to know. There's 7 rounds, right?
Of teams choosing.
Yes, 32
players from
picks.
college.
Because there are 32 teams, so each round has 32 picks, and there's 7 rounds.
Okay.
Right? And so that's around 300 and something people. There's over 7,000, 8,000, 10,000 people waiting to get drafted, right? And only about 300 and so on will have a draft stock. And obviously 7th is the lowest, 1st is the highest. So it's a big pool of players, of talent. And it is a very
competitive.
Yeah, very, very competitive. I won't dismiss
Cutthroat.
the fact. Yeah, it's very competitive. So yeah, it was again, nothing I grew up, hey, I'm gonna go first round in the NFL. I want to be a football player. None of that. Again, when we go back, I was solely on being above average, right? And trying to have a successful life. And I pour that in everything I do. And it elevated me with my talent to this platform of being drafted in the first round.
So you were. So like you've explained it to me. So the first round, every team, there are 35 teams.
32, yeah.
32. And each team, I guess, picks once in each round.
Depending if somebody were to give.
Right.
Yeah.
So by you being in the first round, that means you were among the first 30 players to be picked by the teams.
Over 10,000 people.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Now, that's a big deal.
It is, for sure.
That kind of says that, you know what, I've really stood out in college. So those dreams of a young Josh to be more than average, that was proof.
Right there.
Right?
Sure.
That, you know what? I've been chosen first round.
Yeah.
But not just the world saying that, you know, you're among the best of the best. You're also paid among the best of the best.
Sure.
Right? And you're not coming from a place of money.
Right.
Success, hard work, sure.
Right.
But not true wealth.
Right. For sure.
And you're 22. I remember when I was 22, I did not have much of a head on my shoulders.
For sure. Most of us don't.
So when you sign a contract with a team, right? So your team was the Washington Redskins.
Yes, they were.
So they call your name. I'm sure your heart must have been full to bursting. Like, of course.
Crazy.
Right? Crazy. Like you're screaming.
Crazy.
Your brother is screaming. Your mom is screaming. Every single cousin you've ever had.
Right.
People are coming out of the woodwork. Your agent is, again, you said 3%.
Yeah.
What, if it's okay for me to ask this, what kind of money are you talking about that, like a 22-year-old Josh who's just been in college from Alabama and then Texas, all of a sudden you're in Washington. What kind of money are you now playing with?
Yeah, it was, I'll vividly tell you that whole story. Get drafted, you know, walk on the stage.
Like, do you know what you're going to get paid by then?
No, not, okay. I mean, I have, at that point in time, again, I'm literally, I tell you, I'm coming from a frugal lifestyle, a means of like, you know, don't need much. I was already in that stage. I was already in that environment. Like I knew I was going to be okay. I didn't know how much. I didn't know like the low and high, but anywhere in there I was okay with. Right. So, we go in that night in Chicago. That's where the draft was. And, you know, not everybody even gets an invitation to the draft. And they speculate. Sometimes I think they invite maybe like 40 people to the draft. Something
to the
like
building.
That. To the building, right? But only 32 people get picked, right?
So it's like people who don't, who are just sitting there waiting.
And some people opt out of going because they don't want the embarrassment of like
not being chosen
live on camera, because every single table has a camera like this on it. And so here I am.
And it's live.
Yeah, it's live. Everything you do, whether you check your phone, whatever reaction you do, you pick it, everything is live, bro. Everything is live.
So who's sitting on your table? Do you have
family,
a table?
My ones. Yeah, I have a round table. I have my agents, my two agents, same agency. And then my mom, my dad, my brother, my two siblings, my two sisters, and then my best friend. And, you know, I got my people that, like I said, some tables have like lots of people. I have a small table. I don't, again, it just, if you maybe looked around the room that day, maybe I would have had the smallest table there. You know, I don't know, but that's how unexpected this venture was. And that's how kind of small my family is naturally. We're just chill. So we get my name called, man. And I'm sitting there I'm picked 22. I was picked 22 out of the draft that year. And it was surreal. I watched these drafts over the years because of my brother, not thinking I would be sitting at a table waiting to get drafted like this. And it was really surreal to see the end result to what I've been doing, right? The work. Yeah, this is what you do it for. And I want to say for me, I just wanted to keep work. I didn't even want all that, bro. I had rather, now I had went through it and done all that. Even today, I had rather probably stay at the crib and got picked and I would have enjoyed it more. I felt like for me being there, it naturally wasn't me. I don't have you won't see me crying on TV when I got picked. Like my emotions weren't there. Like I'm just continuing. I feel like I wasn't done. This wasn't a done feeling. Like if I got drafted, I was, oh wow, we're rich forever. I don't have to. No, I was gotta continue work. Like it's like it continue the next day. And
but yeah, there was work, but obviously there are rewards at the end of all the work.
For sure.
Right?
For sure. And I guess that's the part. So it's the rewarding part financially for the family was surreal. It was nowadays.
Give me numbers.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so nowadays they pay collegiate athletes, right? They have the NIL deals, right? They have money and
they can
compensation.
make some money,
Right. We couldn't even get a free meal from McDonald's back when I was playing in college, or we would be in violation. So anyways, I'm on the elevator. I just got picked, right, from the Redskins. I got the hat on. I'm walking out. I'm in the elevator, and I am a businessman at this moment. So here I am in the elevator, texting my agent. I'm like, well,
I've been picked.
How much
am I making?
Yeah, how much are we making tonight? And just give me a number. And he texted me back a number, and it was. He texted me back. We made $8 million. And
okay, wait. How do you like that number?
Yeah.
Is a crazy number.
It's still crazy.
It doesn't make. I mean, again,
don't.
You've worked for it. You're a professional athlete, but it's not.
But that wasn't what I was working for.
But
it is.
No, but listen. It's well and good.
Sure.
Because there's also that just being a human.
Right.
We're not emotionless.
Right. No,
right?
For sure.
We want to feel that our work is worth something.
Yeah, reward.
There are certain numbers though, that if you come from a certain place, these numbers don't make, you never think that they'll be your numbers, right? They're like things that you read, it's always someone else. Oh, that person's a millionaire.
Yeah.
That person's a millionaire.
Yeah.
How do you deal with the fact that that person has become you?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, I'd have probably had to sit down.
Yeah. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. You don't understand. I've never had more than maybe $1,200.
That's $1,200.
Yeah, $1,200
in your entire life.
In my entire life, in my account. And I remember seeing that. I'm like, bro, I got so much money. I can go get fast food all week and go get a haircut. I'm still good. And so, think about what you're actually saying. Yeah.
You get $8 million and you're like, I'm going to eat some fast food. I'm going to get a haircut.
But that lets you know I didn't understand it. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand what to do with it, how much it was, how fast it will go, like how long it will stay. Yeah. You don't understand anything. You just have somebody tell you got this many zeros in your account and it's going to be there on Monday. I'm like, so it's
okay. So you're a college athlete. All of a sudden you've been named. And then you get a text message. You have $8 million in your account in 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Okay. Then what?
What's next? And that's why I said, let's forget about it. Everybody put it in the bank, which now I know wasn't the right thing to do. Go put it in the bank where I know it won't go nowhere. And let me just get back to work and not even look at it. Like, I don't even want to, I had my dad tell me to buy this piece of land, this piece of land, this piece of land, this. And I did do that. And I still had all this, right? Here's the tax government taking millions from federal income tax. $2 million in federal income tax. I ain't never had no $2 million, but here I'm paying $2 million in federal income tax. And so I'm like, now I'm down to 6. You know what I'm saying?
Like that.
Quick, just like that.
You had $8 million and then all of a sudden,
Uncle Sam, $2 million or $6 million now, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm buying this property. I got a car. I got this. I got that. I put money where I knew it would stay, right? A few things like a car. I didn't buy a house, and I think that was my first purchase was a vehicle. And then I bought some land, and then I bought my house where I was living in Virginia. And so naturally my money started going right to real estate, which I'm thankful for, because like 80% of retired NFL athletes, they'll go broke after 2 or 3 years. All money will be gone.
One of the things that I like to talk about on this podcast is financial literacy. And that's a big challenge in here in Rwanda. Like, we don't know. And I try to talk to experts. How do you use money, and how do you not only make money, but how do you make money multiply? How do you stop yourself from losing money?
Right.
They're experts at this.
Sure.
It's not something that you're born with.
No.
Right?
No.
How do you're a young athlete, young man, not from, you don't have generations of people telling you how to move money, right?
Right.
How do you who's teaching you about taxes? Who's teaching you about making a good real estate deal? Because guess what? You've only had $1,200 ever in your life.
Right.
How are you now buying houses worth $400,000, $1 million?
Right.
How are you trying to maybe buy bonds? Right. Because you have said something that is like the vast majority of athletes, NFL, but also other kind of athletes, lose most of their wealth maybe 2-3 half a decade after they retire. And these are making millions and millions of dollars. I mean, you can hear about Mike Tyson.
It's because the lifestyle. You can't, when that money stops rolling in and you had this lifestyle, you have these loans, you have these cars, you got these kids, you got these outstanding balances. Well, that money stopped. How are you going to catch up to all this that's still coming in?
But that isn't it. It doesn't make sense to me that a team would draft you, care so much about your weight, and not care, right? And not care about, teaching you how to manage all this wealth, because the vast majority of these athletes do not come from privilege. Like, who's teaching people?
Right.
Why not the teams? I mean, you had an agent. Why are they not teaching you?
Right.
Were they teaching you?
No. They
weren't.
And everybody is different. I won't speak for every agent. I know there are a lot of former teammates of mine that have had great agencies, great support, right? Even when they're not doing good. That's the biggest part, right? And or financially not there, or trying to get back into it, right? Those are the agencies that some stories that I've heard that there's some good stories out there. For myself, I didn't have one of those good stories. I had more or less somebody that was there for the ride, and when the ride was over, they got off, and I didn't know them before. I don't know them after. So I can't.
So how did you choose them?
So this is the story, and this is before NIL, and this is what just my time and generation in which I spent, and now it's probably changed, but we weren't even allowed to text, talk, or anything to an agent when we still had collegiate games going on. So I'm talking about when the collegiate season was over until the NFL draft. We're talking about a matter of maybe like 4 or 5 months. And in that first 3 weeks, you better pick an agent. You better pick somebody in a room, and I'll have a room of 10 people. I have 10 agents, and I'll interview them 1 or 2 days. I'll interview all 10. Me, right? Me interviewing. Me.
What do you know about anything?
You know what I was looking for?
What?
A connection. That's the only thing I could do. I don't know what I'm doing. All I know is, at this point, sounding dumb, all I know is how to play football, right? I don't know about taxes. I don't know about the marketing. I don't know about where I should go train, where I should not go train, who I should be getting under the wing, mentoring, this. I don't know none of that, bro. You supposed to help me with that. You supposed to come bring me that. And that's what each one of them said they was going to bring me, right? Mm. So now, if everyone's saying the same thing, I got to see who I'm vibing with. And guess who I picked? Mm. The only black dude. Of course, right? Yeah. The only black dude. I'm going to pick the only black dude. And I think it was a little, again, these agents are smart because the black dude I picked was with another agent, right? He was the main guy and the black guy had just kind of started working with him, but he made sure he brought him that day.
Yeah. Also, it was actually fundamentally a white agency, and they just said, we kind of know this.
Smart.
They're looking at you. They're like, he's going to vibe with someone who looks like him.
Come on. Of course.
That's manipulation.
Come on, bro. That's America.
But, okay, wait. So who's putting these guys? Okay.
Right.
Who's putting these people in this room? Who's choosing them? I don't understand.
That's how it is, bro.
I literally doesn't.
I don't understand either, bro. I really don't. I don't.
It almost sounds. Okay. Again, maybe this might sound like a conspiracy, but it sounds like there's systems in play that want you to fail.
That's not a conspiracy. That's a fact.
No, because it doesn't make sense.
It's a drawn fact, bro.
Because,
it's a drawn fact.
I mean, okay. So the players have a union.
Association, yes.
Right? Association.
Yes. Funded by the NFL. Just wanted to put that out there.
Wait.
Yeah, it's kind of, so do this when you say that.
Because, that's crazy. Because I was thinking, okay, if the players union exists, it should be there to protect the next employees.
Right, for sure.
So you'd think that what they'll do is put in place the best lawyers, the best agents, the best representatives, the best marketeers, and say
CPAs, everybody.
This is the package.
Everybody.
Right? It's like
we're trying to help you because you're gonna help us.
All of a sudden we want you, because again, money is a stressor.
Yeah.
So if I'm thinking like a team, I'm thinking like a businessman.
Right.
If I've bought you and you're an asset to me,
yes.
What I want you to do is to be as secure as possible so that you can concentrate on your job. But like if you're fighting with your lawyers, you're fighting with this, you're fighting with that, you're not concentrating on what is needed. No. And another thing, like fundamentally, it's even just a human thing because your profession is very dangerous. Yeah. People don't necessarily die from it, but I mean, you kind of do.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, some people will probably be wondering why you're wearing sunglasses.
Yeah.
Right? And I'll let you tell that story. You're not wearing sunglasses because you're hiding from me.
Right.
There's a reason.
Right.
Why?
Yeah. I mean, it was an injury that I occurred. I always kind of dealt with headaches, in general growing up, light sensitivity. And, I took a pretty brutal hit in the league.
So you were running and
I was running on a screen and it was a guy over twice my weight come crashing down, right? On the side of my helmet. On the side of my temple. And, put me in the concussion protocol.
So there was a concussion.
Yeah, it was.
People who don't understand concussions, literally your brain is like jelly, right inside your skull.
Yeah.
And when you get concussed, your brain smashes into your skull.
Yeah.
Causing, let's call it what it is, CTE. A certain level of brain damage.
For sure.
So you had brain damage.
Yeah. Yes. Call it
and
what it is.
That was when?
That was in 2019. Yeah, 2019.
So 2019, we are now in 2025.
Yes.
And you, because of that injury, even today, if you are in the sun, the bright sun,
very long, what happens?
For sure. If a bright light transcends and hits the right point of my eye, it'll trigger a headache. And
not just a normal fun headache.
A migraine. Yeah. Big difference for people out there that have chronic headaches. Those who know, man, those migraines, it'll shut you down for the day. Some, for me, I'll lose my vision and my peripherals. Like, I'll look at you and I can't see nothing right here to my right. It'll just be a blur. And even if I'm trying to focus on like your face, it'll be a blur. So I can maybe just see your forearms. Everything is just like pixely, right? And that causes nausea, discomfort, dizzy, makes you hot, sweaty, and you want to sit down, all just from, the light contact.
Yeah.
So
you're not being rude.
No, I'm not being rude. And if you see me around Rwanda, we're on the equator, so the sun is naturally out all the time. And it's just been a part of me. And one of the prices, right, we pay for success.
Could you say that, okay, $8 million, 22 years old, playing a sport that you love. Was it everything that you thought it would be? At what point? Like when? Like when everything hit, or just like whenever?
Sure, we can start at the beginning, middle, and the end.
Beginning. Yes. Yes. Everything. Yes. I mean, I made it to the mountain, right? I've been climbing. I drafted. I'm at the top, right? I'm at the top. This is what the top feels like. Damn, it feels good, right? Damn, it feels good. It was a long journey. I've been fighting. I've been scratching. I've been beating other people. I've been competitive. I've been winning against another man's will, for season in, season out, right? And here I am, right? I got lucky. I feel like it's luck not to break some of these bones. I wasn't injured at all in college. Most people, ACLs, MCLs, broken wrists, elbow, anything, collarbone. I broke my collar. I had some injuries, but I was nothing that took away a season, right? So here I am at the top. This is a new feeling, not what I thought it was going to be, but this was a new feeling, and that's what I was looking for, like that top feeling, and I definitely got
best of the best.
Feeling. Yeah, best of the best, best of the best.
First day running into the stadium, tens of thousands of fans.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, it's what you watched on TV. Oh, this is what it looks like. Oh shit, there's so-and-so. Oh, damn, that.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the Cowboys jerseys up close. I've seen these Cowboys jerseys the last 20 years of my life. So
I'm playing against them.
Yeah, I'm playing against them. Like, my name's on the back of that jersey. Like, it's a little starstruck, all going around. Obviously, when you're on the field, you're not thinking about these things, but like at the beginning, and you're getting this jersey, you're getting this, you're going to sign this, and you're signing a baby's arm, and you're signing this and that. It's just a whole bunch of lights, camera, action right now, right? And again, wasn't fueling me, but like I was like, oh, this is
lots of girls.
Yeah, lots of women. No, lots of women. Naturally, because of social media, right? Because they see the draft, they see the name, it's Googleable, it's searchable.
They now know
they flood in.
They know how much money you've made.
They know how much money you've made, right? And so all these distractions, all these things is like I'm at the bottom of a funnel, bro. And all these things are spinning around the funnel, and they're all slowly going down to me, right? Somebody who was naturally
a quiet person.
Yeah. Naturally, that wasn't me. So
how do you deal with it?
Well, first of all, my first year, I didn't deal with it good. I was hurt. I was injured. My first time ever, like I could not go. I had a horrible arthritis, I guess you can call it, to this day, in my Achilles. One of the most rarest form of arthritis, unnatural form of arthritis in a 23-year-old. But I'm telling you, bro, and I love that people know that this is the truth. I couldn't put a sock on. A sock.
What do you mean?
A sock. Like if you're trying to put a sock on for your tennis shoe, I could not put a sock on my foot.
Why?
Without my Achilles hurting. I couldn't touch anywhere in my lower extremity on my Achilles. It was so painful to just touch the skin like this. I didn't know what the hell I was dealing with. The doctors didn't know. The coaches didn't know.
Like your doctors don't know what the hell is going on.
Yeah, they don't know what's going on. We're doing procedures. one of the procedures we call is shockwave, right? It's a procedure where they put you to sedate you, and they literally take a tool that shocks. It's equivalent to, they told me.
Electrocuting.
I'm sorry?
It's electrocution.
Thank you. It's equivalent to I was like, well, why do I gotta go to sleep? It's just, it's shockwave, a little bit of pain. I'm macho man. They're like, it's equivalent to taking like an axle or a hammer and just as high and as hard as you can to the back of your Achilles. Jesus. It's like, that's why you need to go to sleep. I said, okay, cool. I go to sleep. I wake up. I'm in a wheelchair for 3 weeks in a boot. And
does it work at least?
That was the worst thing I could have probably possibly done in my whole career, was listen to these guys push me to get me on the field when I wasn't ready. And they didn't know what I was dealing with. We're just going to do some random tests that we thought would work or did work with somebody else. And we're going to try them on you. And of course, what do you think I'm going to say?
Of course. You don't know better.
Let's go do it. I'm trying to get on the field, coach. So we did.
And your agent is saying,
listen
to the doctors.
Yeah. Listen, they're okay. We don't want to flare up anything, right? You're the first round. We need our first round product on the field. We paid this much money. The least you could do is listen to us trying to help you, right? That's in my mind. They're not trying to hurt me. They're trying to get me progressively faster back to what I want to do, which is get on the field. And
you don't think you should have listened?
Yeah, man. I was a lab rat, bro. We're poking and stabbing at something that didn't need to be poked and stabbed at, right? And I didn't have the confidence nor the stature to say that in that moment or at that time. And even looking back, I still wouldn't been able to. I still would have been, okay, yes, sir. Let's go do that. Let's go do the treatment. Like, let's get better, coach. Because me saying no.
You're a bad teammate.
And I'm not trying to do it. I'm not trying to get better. I'm trying to do it, guess what? My way, not your way. So what does that already start painting a picture? Because they like painting their own pictures. And that was...
Which is really interesting. Can I tell you, there's a term that some people use. It's called FU money. Right? There's a certain amount of money that you can say if someone asks you to do something and you're like, no, F you.
Yeah.
I would have thought that what you got, 6 million after taxes, was FU money. Where you can say, I know what's best for me.
Right.
I'm the product.
Right.
I'm not going to kill myself because of you. And if you don't like it, deal with it.
Right.
Because if you fire me, I have FU money.
Right. Understandably.
Right?
Yeah.
Why did you still feel like you had to listen to these people?
Right. I think based off what you just said, like I felt like there was two business, like now talking about it, there was two businesses going on, right? There was me and then there was the NFL. At the time being,
you thought you were the same.
We're a team. I'm a soldier, right? I'm a soldier. So what do soldiers do when the captain or whoever is trying to
they move forward?
I'm here. Come get this help. Come get this treatment. We're gonna help you get better. Of course, that's what we're gonna do. That's what we were supposed to do, right? And looking back, maybe that was their full intentions, right? I don't think there was intentions to like harm me more, but there was full intentions to get me going faster and trying anything under the sun to do it. And that was the wrong part. That was the inappropriate part to subject me to not hearing the cons of what could happen from this treatment that we're doing, right? We just heard about this is going to get you going.
You never thought that it would make sense to talk to, like, literally get a second opinion from another doctor?
My agent.
Your agent?
My agent. Okay, when I was saying like agencies, when I didn't, right, single mother, right? I was predicated based off of what only thing I knew. My family, they didn't know nothing. I was leading this whole mission, right? So when I tacked my agent on, my agent has how many experience in this league? So guess who I'm following and who's my mentor?
It's him.
That's, like I said, that agencies sometimes based on athlete situations can turn into family figures for these people, right? That type of trust and love I've seen in agencies. I've seen from former teammates literally have stories outside of the football world, just life stories of agents just going out their way to help their family, right? Even done playing football, 5 years down the league, still talking, still relations, still doing this, that.
Just not you.
Just not me. And that's okay. But I'm just telling you that was my experience. And that was, now looking back, that's who I was listening to, right? I was listening to two people on the same side of business while I was over here by myself.
How does Josh stay Josh, the quiet person? Again, you have, you said, all these distractions. There's football, yes, but there's stardom that comes with being a star athlete in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Or New York, or, wherever the other teams, Arizona and all these other teams. How do you not fall into the trap of all the temptations of the world?
Right. Man, easy. I'm shy by nature.
Easy.
I got the easy way out. I'm shy by nature. And when I say that, I don't like walking in a room when everybody knows that there's one athlete in here, or walking into a room, I'm the only black person. It doesn't even have to be athlete title. I could be in where my fiance is from in Minnesota and walk into a restaurant, a fancy restaurant, and it'd be nothing but white people at the table or at the waiting to be sat. I'm already nervous. I'm shy. I feel like I don't like when I feel like everybody's looking at me. So I'm not going to clubs. So I'm not going to Stardom. Hey, there's Josh Doctson. There's da-da-da. I don't know. And also, living in America, that you become a target like that. You become a target for your safety, right? Here comes somebody.
Robbers.
You're walking around with millions. Who else is walking around with millions in the club that night, right? Who else is walking around on the street with millions? There are millionaires out there, but when you are young and you flashing it, and when people know that's you got it. That's not me. That's spotlight vibes for me. And I don't do well in the spotlight. I don't. And not because of the pressure, just because I don't like to be seen. I naturally just don't like to be seen. So I guess my glasses are naturally, I like the vibe of, just having a second identity for those who really know me, right? This is my fourth face, naturally. I feel like I come off as you can come talk to me, but at the same time, I'm probably walking with my head down somewhere,
Family dynamics. One of the things that cause problems is in people's lives is when money gets involved in relationships. Whether romantic or especially family.
For sure.
How does someone's baby brother, someone's baby cousin, someone's son, which you were, how do you, did you deal with any of those pressures that come with, okay, not only are you this person, but we know you have it. Right. Because sometimes a normal person will hide the fact that they have it.
Right.
You can't even hide it.
Yeah.
Right? Your salary is, I literally went online and I could see how much money you made in your entire career.
Right.
What does money can both be a blessing and a curse for a family.
Absolutely.
In your experience with the way that you dealt with those that were close to you. So it doesn't even have to be family. It could be even your best friends.
Sure.
People you went to college with.
Right.
That the people from back home. Did it change?
It didn't. I think the beautiful part about my story and my journey specifically is I naturally never had a big social, big family and never a really big social friend group. Right. I will say I did feel like I owed people things. I definitely felt like the guilt was there. Like you said, you can't hide it, and you can't
say no because then
and people can't hide their problems.
Bad person.
Yeah, right. And you don't want to. You have so much, right? You
have so much so little.
Yeah, so little, right? Why? Just this little bit.
What's $10,000?
Yeah, what's that gonna hurt, right? And for me, who didn't understand, it wouldn't, right?
Mm.
In my mind, I'm like,
Sure.
I wouldn't even know he left,
Yeah.
right? So I did run into some situations with family members that I did lend money to, right?
Mm.
And that I didn't receive back,
Mm.
right? That I thought I was going to receive
Mm.
back. So right there, all of a
sudden,
it's-
like the energy changes.
yeah, the energy changes. And for me, like I've heard the stories, heard this, heard that. But this is here goes my story. This is one of my closest family members, though.
Mm.
This is one I grew me up pretty much, right? This is one I trust. This is one that came from money.
Mm.
So here I am lending, right? You know, helping, happily, right? Happily,
I'm a blessing onto others.
yeah, I'm a blessing onto my family. This is going to my family, right? This is going to my family members, right? This is all good. And still to this day, it's okay. But I think for what sits sour for me is the lesson that I learned that my younger self didn't know about money and didn't understand money. Like right now, I wish I had all that back, right? And I don't need it, but I still wish I had it all back because it was hard-earned money that I worked for. And if I were to do it differently, I would have done it different for them. I wouldn't have given what they asked for, right? Usually what I see now is people ain't asking to the penny, right? They're usually gonna ask for more than what they need, right? And usually you'll give them less than what they need and they'll still take it.
Yeah.
So here I am giving maximum to the penny, right? That's the first thing I wouldn't have done.
I need $15,000.
Here goes
15,000.
15. I should have started you off with like 2 or 5, right? See where that would have went. You didn't have a bill. There wasn't a bill that was like, look, Uncle Sam knocking on my door. If you don't give me this, I'm going to jail. It wasn't that. It was just, I need this. Everybody needs something, right? And so what you needed versus what I could give you should have been different, right? And for me, how I want to say it in this time, being at this age, it was my fault, right? I like putting
I don't think that's fair.
I think it's, look, let me say, I think it's my fault because I was expecting somebody to do something when they're living a whole different world than I am, right? I was expecting them.
But you're expecting honesty.
Yes, but honesty in a world that I was living in. Their honesty in their world is different. Yeah, I want to be honest to you, but my world to you, like, yeah, that's what I know to this day. That's why I have no hard feelings with that person. And I know they wanted to be honest, but their honesty in that moment, like, I am going to give you that money back. Their honesty with that moment saying that.
So they believed that at that moment.
And I believed that, right? And that's why I say I believed what they were telling me. And I believed what I was doing was right. And what I was doing and what I was believing was both completely wrong. And so that's why I say I feel like it was my fault. And I like to ride like that because it makes that relationship better. Still got a relationship with that family member today. Still don't have the money from them today, right? And I still,
don't you ever ask for it?
I
let it go?
I don't. I think there was like, we lended it the first year, and within those 5 years, we were kind of going back and forth trying to get it, and then it was just like, I see it's not coming, and we're going backwards every year by doing this, right?
Yeah.
I'm tagging on different anger every year. I don't want that. That's me doing that stuff to myself, right? Like, it'd have been different if I was on the street, and that was my last.
Yeah.
I know myself, I wouldn't have done that. And so I wouldn't have put myself in that situation. So therefore, like, I at least had a setup to where I could never really like, have that hate relationship with the family member. Cause for me, man, that forgiveness thing it's a dangerous thing to walk with karma for myself. Like, I feel like that forgiveness thing should definitely, be a little loose on some people's situations. I think a lot of people, whether it's finances, whether it's relationships, whether it's job, career, whatever it is, where you feel like somebody or something has done something to you. I mean, like how long will we hold that story? You know what I'm saying? How long are you going to live that story that it was somebody else versus you, right? For me, when I looked in and said it was me, I was good. I was clear and free. But if I still held on to it was them for this whole time, I probably still felt the same way I felt within those last 5 years.
Let's talk about love. Again, young man, athletic, famous, rich, handsome. How do you literally probably your Instagram DMs must have been going crazy.
Yeah.
You know, how do you choose a partner when you're almost in I'm gonna try to use an example. When you are in a supermarket that has every kind of snack.
Doritos.
Right? Every kind of Doritos.
Yeah.
Every kind.
Every kind. Yeah.
And there's nothing that's stopping you from taking a bite of every one.
Yeah.
How do you decide? How do you choose what made you decide on this person to share your life with? Because it's a pretty good life.
Sure. It's okay. Like you said, or like I was saying, right? The bottom of a funnel. Many things come in the funnel and they come down at once. The best thing for me is they come down at once. For me, I was able to see everything. I was never too distracted by things going on because I've always was focused on just playing football and trying to get healthy because I was hurt, right? So for me, I didn't even have the opportunity to really like indulge in that entertainment, that lifestyle, because I was so focused on why is my body not working for me right now, right? The time I need it the most, it's not working. So my full mindset for me was just trying to get better. Yeah, trying to get healthy, trying to enjoy life. Like when I say enjoy life, I'm talking something when I couldn't forget football. I couldn't even walk to the grocery store without a limp, bro. I couldn't even, if I get too many bags from the grocery store and walking to my car, I couldn't do it. I literally could not get up on my toe. Just a regular walk hurt the hell out of my Achilles. So I was pretty much sliding everywhere. Like I was on ice. When I woke up in the morning, that was the best thing to do was I would slide around to the bathroom, brush my teeth, slide around, take a shower, slide around, go get my clothes on, slide around to the car and then drive to work to go get treatment. Like that was my life, bro. I would felt like I was sick at 22. Like I was broken. Broken.
It must have, that's depressing.
Bro.
Did you ever deal with depression?
Absolutely.
Different negative, someone could think, someone could
For
be
sure.
and
exotic,
be like,
exotic thoughts. Yeah, it was.
I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah. No, it wasn't at that point yet, right? It was at the point of confusion more than anything. Like confusion and always thinking the next day would be better. And that even made more confusion for me. Like feeling good one day, thinking like, that injury's behind me. I'm good. Let's go. Telling the coaches, yeah, we good. We're done. Then I'm running. I start feeling a little something at practice, but I don't want to say no. I don't want that's nothing. That's nothing. Let's keep going. Then after practice, you know what? I put myself 3 weeks back because I was so.
You were forcing.
Yeah, I was forcing, and I was trying to show people and doing this and doing that. And bro, when those days happen, like I said, like you get treatment and do all the things, and then boom, here go the lights off, and here go the janitors cleaning the floor. Day's over, and here I am, still hurt, still sitting here. Sad, still knowing that tomorrow I'm going to be hurt. The next day I'm going to be hurt. Next Friday I'm probably going to be hurt. If I want to play this Sunday, I better play hurt. When am I going to do? Yeah, bro, always hurt, bro.
And you're not even enjoying the life that you've worked for.
Not even enjoying it, bro. I'm not even enjoying it. I got a puppy to bring me some joy when I got home, you know, after work, to have something at least jump on me, take my mind off of work, something to care for, right? I wanted to care for something. I wanted to nurture something. I wanted to make somebody else happy. You know, I had no family, no girlfriend at the time.
So you're by yourself?
By myself in an apartment in a high rise, expensive high rise in the middle of DC, living in a mountain of money, hurt, can't walk, can't go to the grocery store, can't enjoy vacations. Yeah, that was the life that I got to. And that was so confusing for me.
How many years is this?
That lasted 2 years. The first year, I forego my first season, which is huge. You know, they hated it. You know, they didn't, you know, the coaches, you know, they wanted me to push through it. They gave me that shockwave therapy before the season so they could get me ready. And I couldn't do it. I literally, if I could go back, which they still have it, if I was in the system, I could go back and pull up film when I was running routes and I'd make a cut on a route and I literally like collapse because my legs gave out. And I'd get up and try to go again. Bro, any coach should have told me to sit down. Don't do that. But here I am trying to be a soldier, trying to show my commitment to the team, trying to push myself to literally the breaking point.
And at the end of all of that, you're going home to an empty house and a dog.
Empty house. Nobody cooking. I mean, horrible. I can't walk. I can't walk up the steps to get to my damn apartment.
Do you have at least someone to talk to?
Nobody,
a therapist?
Bro.
No one?
Nobody.
Family? Are you talking to your mom and telling her what you're going through?
Nah, because again, naturally, yeah, I was in that hole naturally. Like I said, who I am. I don't share conflict. I don't raise conflict. I don't really share emotions, especially if I don't have a significant other. I'm to myself, introverted, dealing with my own issues. And you know, it was, when I say it was working for me, I was dealing with it. You see what I'm saying? Like I was getting by at least each day. I remember good weekends, which is good. Like it wasn't like I can sit here and say I hated my whole experience while I was in Washington. I can at least remember there was some good weekends, right? There were a few good games, some good memories. But overall, what I was being educated on, the business of life, who I was as a football player, my identity, all these things were literally like in the mirror every time I went to the bathroom, you know, like, who are you? Like, what are you going to be? What is your future? When are you going to play? You know, there's that title of he's a bust.
Yeah.
And
a waste of money.
Yeah, a waste of money. And bro, I ain't never heard none of this before. I'm not trying to do none of this. I'm trying to play. Why are we talking my own team fan? Why are we doing that to me? Like, why? What did I do? I didn't ask to go have both my legs not to work right when I get drafted and run off with the money in the sunset. That wasn't the objective. Like, it was be the best version I've ever possibly been able to be in my prime. And I just wasn't able to reach that. So
you're in this funnel. How do you meet the significant other, Haley?
Yes, Haley. So it was an 18 season, or excuse me, it was an 18 season in 2018, and you know, go home for the off season. I was drafted in 2016, so here we are the second year. And
so you go back home to Texas?
Yes, Texas. So I was in DC. I go home during the off season, train. Didn't do any vacations at that point. Like literally, like I'm thinking back now, like what I spent my money on was fast food and video games, maybe. I don't know. Like literally nothing, right? And so here comes, you know, a new date, a new friend at the time. And for what I was going through, right? I was injured. I was pretty much sick in my mentality of how I was viewing life, because it wasn't just football. Like I was saying, it was grocery stores. It was just walking up a flight of stairs. It was even off the plane. That was the worst. If I got on an airplane, the elevation inflamed my Achilles so much. I was like, you know how when you're on an airplane and you have to wait for the handicap chairs? I was like the last person off, because I had to stand up and start doing calf raises just so I could literally just to walk out of the airplane. Or I would have literally been doing this, going out of exiting the airplane. Like it was that bad. Like it was literally that bad. And so I meet her at this time of like sorrow, this time of
You're
like,
sick.
yeah, I'm
Both
sick,
physically,
yeah,
but also
physically,
mentally as
yeah,
well.
mentally, and you know, everybody knows different. You know, when you meet a woman, I don't think you can really explain it versus just say she was different. You know, from what I was seeing, what I was talking to, what I ever saw before. You know, it was more on the plateau of, you know, here are the girls and this is a woman, you know, and she stood out right away. I was, you know, lived by herself, clean, cooked, had a job, had a dog, you know, had a whole ecosystem surviving on her own. And for me, I felt like I was still a young boy in so many different forms and fashions. And for somebody outside my mother to be able to grow me, but know how to talk to me, you know, because it's different, you know, for men, you know, we could be told something and man,
We don't hear it.
yeah, man, it takes the right person, you know, it takes a special person for you to, you know, grab your attention, first of all, and then to listen, and then to continue to listen
Over time.
even through the yelling, right? Even through the I'm right, you're wrong, you're right, I'm wrong. Like, you know, we kicked it off. Like minds go fast. And for me, like faster because of how I was raised. You know, a lot of people, you can't really just, you know, beauty can grab your attention, but like my full like expansion of like, hey, you got my full attention. Like you got, like, you want me to want to see you tomorrow. I want to learn from you. Hey, what do you think about this? Now you're educating me. Now you're teaching me, you know, what to do in the kitchen. I never knew what to do in the kitchen. You know, like simple little things, that maybe you would think a 24-year-old would already know, but I didn't. And it took a special woman like herself to come along in my life and to change it and to make it better. And especially during a time of not being able to walk, you know, to take my mind somewhere outside of that. And somewhere outside of that was traveling.
When you retired, because of the injuries and just never-ending injuries. I think that I would be fair to say that your career was cut short. But by the time you finally said goodbye, were you ready to say goodbye, or were you pushed out?
You know what? I'm one. This is my fiance. No, I am one for being able to go cold turkey on something. I could leave it, you know, I could naturally leave something that isn't for me. Just like that, just like meat. It was like that. I left it.
You woke up and you're like, okay, you know what?
I'm
This is
good.
enough.
Like it wasn't, I didn't need to continue to think about a feeling. Like sometimes it was like a light switch I used on or off, period. Nothing else.
You moved on.
So it was, my last journey was in 2020 when I was with the Cardinals, and I'll never forget, I go into the meeting room, and this is how usually the firing gets done. I go into meetings, normal day, right? Go into meetings, got my book out. We're in special teams meeting, which is, you know, not offense, defense, you got the special teams, and we're in the meeting room, and here I am, you know, about to write my notes down, and every player will know this when I say this, but you know, your phone's off, right? It's a serious moment, right? It's as if PK's in the room. You don't want to have any disruption of who's speaking to you, right? So here comes my phone buzzing. I'm writing my notes down, my phone buzzing. I'm looking down, look at the number, and it's a local number. An unsaved local number. Yeah. That's dangerous, right?
Really?
It's dangerous. So I immediately get up. I don't get up to answer no phone. I don't answer phone regardless. I get up and answer the phone. Because I knew what it was.
Really?
Hello? Hey, yes, is this Josh? Yes, this is Josh. Yes, this is Coach da-da-da. Can you please come upstairs for me? Yep. And I closed my book. I closed my bag. I put my stuff away. I knew it was my time to go see the Green Reaper. So I go upstairs. He gives me his whole little fire spiel of so-and-so got hurt. We need a replacement. Nah, we think you're good. Da-da. But da-da-da. All while he was talking, Sonny, I literally already exited the room. That was the switch Right when I sat down, switch. And he talked. I didn't hear shit, he said. Got up, I left. I didn't catch a football. Nobody knows. I didn't catch a football. This is 2020, right? I had teams calling. I had farm leads, small teams calling. Hey, you want to come? Literally, I was so stunned and so like switch, right? I didn't go practice. Now, I didn't run one route after that. I didn't catch one football after that. I didn't go training nowhere after that. Nothing. I just switched it off. I switched it off.
So what do you do after that?
I thought
like you go home and sleep?
I went on a hike. I was in Arizona at the time, and I went on a hike. I went to the top of this mountain. My favorite hike I go on. I went to the top, and Rwanda is always on my mind. Like we're in 2020 at this point, right? And or excuse me, yeah, this was 2021. Sorry, this is 2021 after COVID year, and in 2020 we were in Rwanda during COVID, living here, right? For a few months, the first 3 trimesters of my wife's pregnancy, and then we had to go back. So. I mean, there's one thing on my mind when I walked to that cliff. I just wanted to see where my mind was. I was just so blank when, I just got fired from my job. Here I am going to have to restart, going to have to go to a new team, going to have to prove myself all over again, find new friends, find a new this, get a new number, get a da-da-da. I was just like, bro, I don't even want to think about none of that. I just want to go to this hill and see what else I can think about right now. So I go to that hill and I just was like, what is this? Like, where are you at? Like, I feel like life was at a pivotal point. Like I'm tired of this business doing me like this. Like I got a family at home. Like it wasn't even about football at this point. It was like, at the point in time, my son was 6 months old back home. I'd much rather be back home with him versus sitting here banging my head, running around, getting hurt on a practice squad, doing things that, I was pretty much 50% trying to do. And so, like I said, when I got fired, went to that cliff, thinking about my son back home, thinking about my wife, thinking about just future, how old the NFL was making me feel, right? Yeah. I'm 30 years old at that time, 29, 30, somewhere in there. But the NFL, when you're in that age realm, you're kind of around 40s, right? Yeah. You're on the back end.
And you probably feel 60.
Yeah, and you feel it. You feel it. You truly do. Yeah, right? I literally, so it's like, where am I going to go submit this resume to another team? And if I do and they take me, what is my occupation going to look like there? It's going to be like, I'm going down like this. Do I want to keep playing while I'm doing? I'm like, no, I don't. I really don't. And do I have to? And that was when it was a click. I don't have to, I don't have to do this. I don't need to do this. I'm not doing it for nobody. There's no dad at home that's like, I used to play in the league for 10 years. You need to play 12. Like, nah, what I did just by making it to play in college was already different for my life, for my family. Nobody in my family has even played collegiate football. So, I switched it, man. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I told myself I was done.
And you switch it. And then what career do you have?
Nothing. Dad.
So you're just being
dad.
Stay-at-home dad,
man. And that's the portal of the NFL, right? Most people don't know when the end is, so they'll kind of keep trying, right? Keep spending some money, keep doing a little of this, maybe get a quick few week gig here, feel good about themselves. Like, oh yeah, I played that year. I played that team a couple months, and it might not have been my year, but next year I'll find another team. That wasn't me. I wasn't trying to do that, bro. If you didn't commit to me, I'm not finna commit to you. I'm not finna go to, there's some people that play in 4 to 6 different teams in 1 year, bro. Just getting moved around, getting fired, going here. All right, getting fired. Oh, they see you're fired. They bring you back because they just need a person because that person went down. Like, I didn't want to get used like that. Like, that's never how I started playing football, and that's not how I was finna start. And so, yeah, man, you want to call it quit, you want to call it whatever you want. I was done. I had enough. I had enough.
So there's no fear because there's a certain level of the unknown, right? Like your entire existence up to that point was football.
Sure.
and being a football player.
Right.
Because it's not like you weren't playing that much, but you were being a football player.
Still a football player. In my mind, in my body, I was a football player.
You were
the way I wore my clothes.
You're a football player. When that door closes, then who do you become? What is your profession now?
Yeah.
Because very often our identities are married to what we do.
For sure.
So Josh is no longer a football player.
Yeah.
What is Josh now?
Yeah.
Is it enough just to be a dad? Or is it do you need to be something else?
Yeah. Identity was different. I mean, we're talking about 22 decades of football, right?
Of work.
2 decades of football first on anything I ever done. And everybody who knew me knew that that's what I was doing. They knew me as the football player. Even my name, like, I was telling my fiance, like, even going, like, in Fort Worth where we live in the surrounding, even just saying Josh Doctson, like, that's that football player, right? Like, it's just so much the definition of football, right?
Who you are.
Yeah, of who I was. So it was so different because that was like, as we know now, that's not who I was building over time. I was just trying to build the best version of me and be the most successful person I can be and be fruitful to everybody around me, period. But I grew on to this platform, right? Yeah. And naturally, I'm not going to dismiss the fact that I am a football player. No. I felt football. Like, I felt defined as everything about football. And so when that literally leaves you, like, bro, that's like, I mean, Superman doesn't have his cape no more. Like, it's as simple as that. You know, it's, you know, you're looking at your account a little more now, looking at the daily account going, and you're looking
because you don't have that weekly paycheck.
Yeah, you don't have that paycheck. You know, I'm on YouTube more, trying to find ideas, watching a lot more Rwandan videos on YouTube, and just trying to, man, literally, I felt like I was counting every single day, bro, for 4 years straight. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It
must have felt
that was the depressing.
Do you ever feel lost?
Yes, for sure. I felt like I wasn't going anywhere. I felt like I was imprisoned in my own house. You know, I was just
must have been a nice house though.
Nice house, 0 lot line. So we just literally sitting in the house. You know, we're just sitting in the house, bro, for 4 years. You know, I'm raising my kids. Obviously, there's sweet times being a new dad. You know, I did find a lot of beauty in what I was going into in terms of being a father figure to someone, not to just someone, but to my son, and to not have that experience growing up. So naturally, again, I kind of started focusing on things that were in front of me. So I'm like, okay, let me be the best version of it. Let me do this. Let me do this. But none of these things were like getting to my individual, like, human being, like, fulfillment, right? I needed that fulfilling reward in life, and I wasn't feeling it. And I think that for having felt it for that last couple of decades and really feeling it the last half decade, that was tough, bro. That was, I mean, yeah, like, to make it to a professional level, like you said, like, you can only imagine in America, like, everywhere is your playground, right? There's nobody you can't talk to. There's not a door that you can't open. Not a woman that you can't talk, like, everything is accessible to nothing, right? Like, nothing, like, your time's gone, so like, done, old head, like over with. Yeah, over with. And a lot of things rain down on you. First thing is, do you have enough finances to figure it out? Because some of my teammates, they don't even have time to cope with what's going on. They gotta go right into work. You know, they gotta go from all what I just talked about and suck it up and go, whether, you know, coaching, not trying to downplay somebody, but like, the struggle is real. They might have to go to the grocery store, right? They might have to go substitute teacher somewhere. They might have to go do something they don't want to do.
Bus driver.
Yeah, like, anything, because we got to make that money, man. And
we have bills. The bills don't stop.
Yeah, the bills don't stop. And that's what, for us athletes, we have a hard time giving up that identity and giving up the end. We don't know when the end is. There's no written end, right? You usually write it. right? I don't care if you're hurt or if you had a successful career or if you're not having a successful career. All three of those components, all three of those individuals will keep trying to play if they're a football player, period. And I think at the end of the day, I wasn't a football player. I don't think I was in that military mindset of doing anything by any means possible. That wasn't me. That wasn't me. And I found out quick, like I said, with my first injury, like I was already, you know, once I listened to them and started experiencing the off the field life, I was like, nah, this ain't for me. This ain't for me, because what I did inside those lines was for inside those lines. That wasn't supposed to affect me outside the lines, especially not when I got 2 months of the year to go travel on vacation. I can't even walk to my hotel room because my legs hurt, or I can't go swimming because I can't flap my legs because my Achilles hurt. Just crazy stuff like that. And I was like, bro, I'm not even experiencing life. You have all this money. I was telling my friend, I can't even experience nothing. I'm scared to get on an airplane to go anywhere because I can't walk afterwards. I can't travel anywhere because I can't walk anywhere. I look like I'm handicapped. It was the craziest.
So you have
3-4 years
that you've ever worked for,
yeah,
and you cannot enjoy it at all.
Enjoy it, bro. And I think that was honestly the best thing. All these things are great. Again, I'm thankful for everything that's happened in my life because I'm sitting right here, right? All these things seasoned me the right way to be able to sit right here. I didn't know that I could live a dream twice. Yeah. My first dream, you know, I practiced at it. I got there and made it, you know, and it was what it was, right? While I was in the league, I was dreaming about something else. You know, I was constantly traveling, constantly trying to figure a life that was almost like I didn't have to worry about something. Like, how do you get to a life where you financially don't have to worry? You're safe. Life's easy. It's simple. Like, how do you get there, right? Is it a lot of money? No, I got that. No, it's not that. Like, what is it? Where is it? And again, just Rwanda every single time, bro. Every time I went there, every single year, I felt like I got healed. Whether I had a good season, bad season, whether I was hurt or mad, whatever, I always made sure, even my wife, whether she was pregnant or not, she always made sure that I would make it to Rwanda for at least 6 days out of the year. At least 6 days, bro. So I'm talking about 2 days traveling, 3 days here, 2 days traveling. 3 days here only just
would heal you.
Bro, I needed to get here. There was something here that just I knew there was something here.
I had asked you earlier about, because, so this is your career path. You are a football player. Then you are retired.
Yeah.
Then you are a stay-at-home dad.
Yeah.
And now you are soon to be a restaurateur in Kachiru.
Yeah.
Vegan.
Sure. Vegan.
I mean, I'll ask you why vegan, but it seems that it's because that's truly what you believe in. But it's opening restaurants it's risky, right? A lot of them, I think about 80% of them fail within 3 years. Why do you feel the need to live this dream of yours of opening your restaurant, and not just your restaurant, but in a market that, you know, it's still a developing market, right. Which is Rwanda.
Right.
Why do you think that you'll be successful?
Because I got a vision. I think, or I know what this feeling felt like before, or while I was on the path to the NFL. I remember just naturally waking up at 4:30 and wanting to go to work and ready to like work out and do things. I got that feeling now, right? I'm starting to see similarities of my younger childhood developing into a man, and out here a father growing into a businessman, right? I'm starting to see two of the same lives repeat themselves. And for me, why vegan is because for me, the challenge of vegan, it's more challenging to be in this culinary than it is to just cook what's, ordinary, right? What's accustomed to eating. I think for me, what I fell in love with is the reward of the kitchen. Remember, I was speaking of finding that reward. When I say reward, that means I need to have failure in that. It needs to have more failure than reward. For me, reward, there's a lot more failure than success, right? And so when I was cooking this, I had a lot of failure. I couldn't cook nothing. Nothing was tasting good. I was serving it to my family. Yeah, it's all right. It's okay. But then it started turning that, all right, it's okay. Like, dang, babe, you did it. Yeah, this is good. And I started feeling proud. And I started going outside the box, trying new things, getting books, educating myself. Now here I am, educating, learning, growing, and creating. Failure, success, all in the kitchen. All these things are happening by myself, with myself, right? At the house, right? And it was just foretelling now, obviously, but back then I was like, I didn't know how far this would go or what I was doing. I wasn't doing this for like, yeah, one day we're going to open the first vegan restaurant. Right? No, it was none of that. It was, again, focusing on what I had in front of me, doing it to the best of my ability, trying to take it above and outside the average, and just, and having fun with, the success of the kitchen. And it's really now showed me, now that I'm here in Rwanda, able to hire a team. Here I am showing myself back when I'm playing football. Not the biggest and the best part, but one of the greatest things about football is the camaraderie, right? The team, it's a team sport. You got team players. Everybody has a different role to help the success of the team, right? So here I am with the business. Here I am, the chief chef, and I have some team members around me. And the only success of this kitchen is from the team members around me. And so I'm seeing a lot of similarities and things I'm accustomed to kind of already knowing and kind of already having the leadership and the drive and the motivation. And I'm just applying it in the kitchen now.
We've had a pretty long conversation. So this is going to be the last question. So a few years down the line, a couple of decades, maybe 15, 20 years down the line, your children will perhaps watch this interview. They might be somewhere in the world. They might still be in Rwanda. They might be in the States. They might be on Mars. But they'll be watching this and listening to their dad speak. I'd like to ask, let's pretend you're talking to them and they're listening to you. What did you envision for their lives when you and your fiance chose to leave everything behind and start a new life here in Rwanda? What did you envision for them? Because you're raising them here.
Sure.
What do you envision for them? Why, when you made that choice? There was a reason why.
Sure.
Talk to them now.
Your mom and I, we chose Rwanda first and foremost because of the things that are happening in America in terms of safety, right? In terms of the shootings. Your mom and I couldn't even begin to even put you in a school anywhere because of safety concerns we had. Being a Black man in America, it's time to stop talking about a new option. It's time to stop looking for a new option. And it's more time to choose it. Yeah. And for us, or for your mom and I, that's what we did. We saw the option to choose a way out, as we call it. And that way out will, in our eyes, it was, in a nutshell, to give you that life expectancy to do something great. We don't want either one of our kids to have their life cut short because of some negligence of someone in America, right? I think that was the first reason. Second reason was solely because my experience as an African American in America didn't make sense to me anymore. I feel like it doesn't make sense financially how much it will cost in the future for you. It doesn't make sense for you to hit your head on the same things I did in the US. And more importantly, you'll understand this one day, but you always want to give your kids a better life than you had. And for me and for us, making this move was a better life instantly. And I can say that because I say it to her every day. I'm jealous of him when I see him, when I drop him off at his school, or when I pick him up and see how happy he is, or I drop him off and I see the activities they're doing, or I'm just going to pick him up and I see and feel the weather that he's in. Like, those are constant reminders that we made the right decision. And I like we were talking earlier, there's no right or wrong, and there's no book on parenting. You kind of just roll with the punches and make your, the best decision possible for what you think is best for your kids. And so that's what we did. That's what we did.
Mr. Josh Doctson.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you so much for joining me. This has been one of my longer episodes, but it was worth every minute.
Thank you.
Thank you for trusting me with your story.
Yeah.
And thank you for welcoming my team and I to your home. And I hope my hope is that when people get to hear this story back home, your home, not here, and have a better understanding of Rwanda and the place that you've chosen.
Sure.
But I also hope that those here understand where you've come from as well. And what your life journey has been. Because I feel that these kind of conversations lead to a better understanding.
For sure.
Of where all of us have come from and where all of us are going, and kind of allows for more unity. More unity.
Communication.
Josh, thanks so much.
Yes. It was a pleasure.
I hope you had fun.
No, I did. And I want to thank you too. This is something that I think talking is a healthy option. As you asked me prior, I think one of the things I should have done maybe earlier, but at the same time, I don't mind waiting, was to speak, was to share, right? My experience, good, bad, or indifferent. I think you mentioned to me, there's no saltiness in any of it. It's just my experience. Yeah. And I appreciate you letting me tell it.
Thanks so much, bro.
Yep.
And cheers.
Cheers.
And that's a wrap for this week's episode. Thank you so much for sticking with us until the very end. I'd actually love to hear your thoughts on today's conversation. So drop a comment below and join the discussion. You can also join us on the social media of your choice. And if you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to share it with a friend and invite them to the conversation. I'll see you next time. Until then, take care.